League World Series. Welcome back to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Better yet, welcome home. There is a comfort in the familiarity, isn't there, of something we do every summer. And whether you're watching on a television, a tablet, or a phone, knowing over the next 11 days, these 11, 12, and 13-year-olds will transport us to a time and place of innocence, our childhood. That's something that these kids will do in what is a true World Series. Teams, 16 of them from across the globe and across the United States, playing a game, being silly, being goofy, being great. Most important, being kids. Living out dreams, folks, that started, 5 or 6 years ago in a place, I promise you, that hardly seems real. We hope you enjoy this ride as much as I know we will. As unpredictable as the kids are, one thing I can guarantee you, the Little League World Series is a blast each and every year. So let's get this thing started. Volunteer Stadium and Dave Fleming.
Well, indeed it is. Thank you, Carl. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say there is no place in sports like Williamsport, like this event, and all the excitement, all the anticipation. Our 2018 Little League World Series starts now.
There's a place where a fantasy is relived once every turn around the sun.
My name is Jim. My name is Anthony Cook.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Renewing hopes, dreams, and memories.
That's it, it's all over. The biggest upset in the history of Little League.
Hit deep from Frazier to left. He's done it again.
Of proud moments and history made.
It's been an incredible journey. We're one of the best teams in the world.
It's over. A complete game for Monet Davis. This is the greatest show. And Rhode Island is going to win it on a walk-off hit.
It's always a year in the making and always worth the wait.
My goodness, that one left the bat in a hurry.
The 72nd Little League World Series starts now.
And welcome to the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Just a spectacular afternoon in Pennsylvania. Big crowds are here already. Day one, game one, as we get it started on the international side. South Korea and Puerto Rico will go head-to-head here to get the Little League World Series started. Opening ceremonies earlier this afternoon. That was great. The kids are ready. The fans are ready. The parents are ready. It's Little League World Series time. And what do we mean by the Little League World Series? Well, we play a modified double elimination tournament with 16 teams, 8 on the international side, 8 on the U.S. side. Kids are anywhere from 9 to 13 years old. We play 6-inning games on fields, 2/3 conventional size, and mandatory play rules mean every kid gets into every game. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming alongside Kyle Peterson. You and I look forward to this every year, so here we go. And we don't just look forward to who's crowned the champion next weekend. It's about the kids and how much they enjoy being here.
I mean, the storylines are going to write themselves on the field. They do every year. But the one absolute when we show up is you know that the emotion that you get from 12-year-olds, especially today, when they walk on this field for the first time, it's one of my favorite days that we have, Dave. Today and tomorrow, when these kids come on the field for the first time, they look around, see their surroundings. Now we get to see them play a little ball.
And, you know, one of the things that you and I love is it's not just the kids from the U.S. that anticipate and look forward so much to being here. It's also these kids from all around the world, familiar places like Japan and South Korea that have sent teams here over and over again. Mexico, also kids from Australia who are still new to baseball in some ways. A team from Spain is here this year. So it should line up to be a great 2018 here in Williamsport. On the U.S. side, let's get a little preview with our colleague David Ross.
Hey guys, over here on the U.S. side, got a couple storylines for you. Hawaii is back and looking to continue their success here in Williamsport. Last 3 times they've been here, been to the championship game. Grosse Pointe, Michigan is back. 3 of their regional wins by double digits can really swing the bat. And the Staten Island group, led by Bruno, throwing a perfect game to get them here. Going to be a lot of fun, a lot of action coming your way. Tune in here at Williamsport.
All right, so a pretty cool preview from our friend David Ross about the teams on the U.S. side. How about the international teams? We will see 2 of them here in just a moment. These kids have traveled from all around the world, literally, to get here to Williamsport. Great distances, and I think that's part of what makes this such a fun event for you and me.
Yeah, it does every year. I mean, the storylines as we look on the international side, clearly it's what has affected Puerto Rico. The two hurricanes that hit what these kids have had to go through, they still don't have power at their Little League field, but here they are in Williamsport. Japan, the champions last year from Japan, different Little League this year, but obviously Japan back trying to win back-to-back titles. South Korea, when they show up, seems to have a very good run here. 3 of the last 5 times that South Korea has been here, they've won the whole thing. We will see them in a minute. And Spain back for the first time in over 30 years. We'll see them later on in this tournament.
Just part of the stories that will unfold here in Williamsport. Starting today, South Korea, Puerto Rico, we get it started. Then Iowa and New York, Australia, Mexico at 5 Eastern. And the nightcap, Texas and Rhode Island. All that still to come. First pitch, 2018 Little League World Series gets started right after this.
The Little League World Series on ESPN is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, proud supporter of Little League and all youth sports, and in part by Bridgestone, engineered for clutch performance.
Well, the fields couldn't look better here in Williamsport. We are ready to go. The 2018 Little League World Series, our first game, features the team from Seoul, South Korea, one of the biggest cities in the world, and they love baseball there. Let's meet the kids from South Korea.
안녕하세요. 저는 임준우입니다. 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 주신수 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 명재현입니다. 제가 제일 좋아하는 선수는 김동엽 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 김태현입니다. 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 최정 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 이재혁입니다. 제가 좋아하는 선수는 봉중근입니다.
제 이름은 박정현이고 제가 좋아하는 선수는 추신수 선수입니다.
제 이름은 김한결이고요. 제가 좋아하는 선수는 오승환입니다.
안녕하세요. 최수호입니다. 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 김현수 선수입니다.
제 이름은 이우현이고 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 김하성 선수입니다.
제 이름은 김영현이고 제가 좋아하는 선수는 크레이트 커쇼 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 전 전종희입니다. 제가 제일 좋아하는 선수는 양희지 선수입니다.
제 이름은 최지영이고 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 추신우 선수입니다. 안녕하세요. 전 오모입니다. 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 박정 선수입니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 김예준입니다. 제가 좋아하는 선수는 추신수입니다.
안녕하세요. 김기정입니다. 제가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 류현진 선수입니다.
Well, a great group of kids, and they are expected to be one of the top teams here in Williamsport again this year. Before first pitch, let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast crew, Sebastian Salazar.
All right, guys, I don't know if you can tell from the excitement here or the pins on my shirt. We've been counting down the days for this game since we crowned Team Japan champion last August here in Williamsport. I'm sure you guys up in the booth will agree with this. One of the great joys of covering the international side of the bracket here at the Little League World Series is you get a sense of the appreciation that these kids have for this moment and this event. It's a wide-eyed wonderment when they hit the field here at Volunteer Stadium. And you're seeing a quote right now emblazoned on the side of Volunteer Stadium. It's from our good buddy Omar Romero of Team Venezuela last year. I won't forget this place because it's so beautiful. It's not just lifelong memories either. It's really lifelong relationships you create. Omar and I follow each other on Instagram. He sent me a message this morning. He says, I'm going to be following every pitch of the Little League World Series from back in Venezuela. So everybody's excited.
And speaking of Sebastian, the very first pitch, 2018, is in there for a strike from the young right-hander Eric Rodriguez, who starts today for Puerto Rico. And a bunt attempt for a foul ball, and strike two. There's Eric.
We see them all sizes here. That's one of our favorite things every year at the Little League World Series. 5'8", 130 pounds. Octopus cocktail. I know that's high on your favorite food list as well, Dave, so that made you happy right away.
It may be hard for him to find that here in Williamsport. Find just about everything else. Jae-Yo Lee, who is 13 years old, the second baseman.
1-2.
Pretty good swing. Well, Seoul, South Korea is one of the biggest cities in the world. They love their baseball. There is a thriving professional league in Korea. Many of these kids' favorite baseball players are not stars of MLB, but stars from the Korean Professional League. And the Little League in Seoul has grown so fast. They've had to divide it up. So this year's team is from kind of a new division of Seoul Little League, South Seoul Little League, even though the manager has been here before in Williamsport. It's a brand new Little League from a country that just loves baseball. That one to right field. Luis Rivera for the catch. And one thing that you already mentioned, Kyle, that we see every year, this first game, the kids who take the field for the first time, whether the butterflies are the same for every, I mean, you have to think that these kids getting the Little League World Series started, there is a little nervousness out there.
There is. I mean, Sebastian was talking about it just a minute ago, and it is one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things in Omaha every year, honestly. The first time that kids get on the field that they've seen on TV or they've heard about so much. And this is it. This is the first time for these kids. Then you get between the lines, the game gets going, and you forget about it a little bit later. But it's a moment that they will not forget.
A little slip at first, but still time to get the out. That turns into a pretty nice play. Carlos de Jesus made the play, and Eric Rodriguez communicates. 2 down here in the top of the first inning. Well, it's an incredible story on the Puerto Rico side, too. And we'll talk about it a lot today and throughout this Little League World Series. What happened to that great island last year, almost a year ago right now, with Hurricane Maria and the total devastation. So many of these kids, everybody in that country impacted. The field that these kids play on, their home for Little League Baseball, was devastated. They still don't have electricity there. And it's just it's a tremendous story that they were able to make it through the Caribbean region and get here to Williamsport in 2018. So many folks back home are paying attention to them. So many of the families were able to be here.
Some of their homes affected, some of the homes of the coaches affected. Oh, that was close.
Almost got a foul ball in inning number 1. We are right on top of the action at Volunteer, just like the fans are. Another great part of Williamsport is how close together everything is, and they are packed in here at Volunteer. 70 miles an hour. You will see some pitch speed readings and pitch equivalencies. That's where we sit.
Hello. That's a good look.
Yeah, it's a really good look. You almost have to look straight down to home plate. Ball 4. It's hard to look at those images. I mean, it is so scary what happened to Puerto Rico. And you and I know so many great people from there. All of their families impacted and still are to this day. But baseball is such a common thread in Puerto Rico. And these kids especially have bonded over what happened last year and what has happened this year to their team to get here to Williamsport.
Well, and baseball was such a big part of the reaction to the hurricane as well. Alex Cora immediately, I think it was just after he was named the manager of the Red Sox, took a plane load down there. Carlos Beltran was really active in that recovery effort. The sport is so incredibly important to the island, and there's so much history there.
The 3rd biggest hurricane on record to make landfall anywhere in the U.S. was Hurricane Maria last year. Guayama, the town that has sent this particular Little League here to Williamsport, has never sent a team to the Little League World Series until now. Ji Young Kim, the catcher, big strong kid. Lots of times in the past, Kyle, we have seen power from South Korea, big home run type hitters. And this year, their coach tells us it might be a slightly different kind of South Korean team.
The South Korean team that we saw just a few years ago had a ton of power, really big kids. Now, the one thing this year, I mean, the bats react like a wood bat, so we expect that you'll see a little bit less power. Ultimately, I think it's a good thing. The ball comes off the bat a little bit lighter than it did in the past, so that affects the power here too.
2-2.
High fastballs that you can't catch up to helps also. Eric Rodriguez at fastball up. We'll show you the major league equivalent when we get above 70 miles an hour. So a 70-mile-an-hour fastball from 46 feet, equivalent to 91 on a major league mound, and we'll see some that go higher than that.
2-2. That one went behind the hitter to the backstop. Choi able to move to second base on a wild pitch. This is what Kyle was referencing, and we will see a lot of kids who throw hard. If you throw 70 with the distance from the mound to home plate here in Little League, that is the equivalent in terms of reaction time for the hitter to a 91-mile-an-hour fastball in the big leagues. Strike 3 called. Out number 3, and we are off and running in Williamsport. Great start, South Korea to Puerto Rico. Bottom of the first right after this. No score after a half inning. Now we get to see the kids from Guayama, Puerto Rico come to bat for the first time. A baseball heavy town in that great island country. Let's meet the kids from Puerto Rico.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis Adrián Díaz Paoli y mi jugador favorito es Yadier Molina. Hola, me llamo Leonel Gómez y mi jugador favorito es Francisco Lindor.
Hola, mi nombre es Ángel Javier Vázquez Soto y mi jugador favorito es Javier Báez.
Hola, mi nombre es Gabriel Rivera Morales y mi jugador favorito es Javier Báez. Hola, mi nombre es Devin Yair Ortiz Rosario y mi jugador favorito es Eddie Rosario.
Mi nombre es Víctor Cartagena y mi jugador favorito es Francisco Lindor. Mi nombre es Eric Rodríguez y mi jugador favorito es Robinson Cano.
Hola, mi nombre es Roberto Ángel Jubel Ortiz y mi jugador favorito es Francisco Lindor.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis López Bermúdez, mi jugador favorito es Roberto Lomar.
Hola, mi nombre es Omar Rodríguez y mi favorito jugador es Yadier Molina.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis Ángel Rivera Vázquez y mi jugador favorito es Eddie Rosario.
Hola, mi nombre es Yadier Delgado y mi jugador favorito es Eddie Rosario.
Hola, mi nombre es Carlos de Jesús y mi jugador favorito es Javier Báez.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis Daniel Rivera Amaro y mi jugador favorito es Javier Báez.
All right, it is a tremendous group of kids. They will face the right-hander, Young-Yo Kim, who is on the mound, 12 years old, 5'6", a Justin Bieber fan. The music is always pumping here in Williamsport. The kids love to sing, love to dance. That is something that connects the kids from across the world, international side, U.S. side. There's already a little disagreement between pitcher and catcher.
That is something that connects all around the world as well.
You are right.
That's always the same. Doesn't matter how old you are or where you're from.
Here's Young Kim, the catcher. He's got a big personality. Seems like most of these kids do. And we're still getting things sorted out. So while we have just a moment before the bottom of the first inning, let's welcome in Sebastian once again.
Hey guys, you mentioned Guayama has never sent a team to Williamsport, but that doesn't mean that the city doesn't have some pretty significant baseball history. I just got this from the director of Little League from Guayama. He said in the 1930s there was a semi-pro team in the area that won back-to-back titles. During that time, the residents, he said, tend to be a little superstitious, took to lighting candles for good luck, giving the players good luck charms. Obviously it worked, and after that, it became known as Pueblo de Brujos, a city of witches. So even the town's nickname comes from the beautiful game of baseball.
Cool factoid. And I hope it goes without saying, but when we refer to Puerto Rico, or at least when I do, as an island country, we know it's part of the United States, but they play in the Caribbean region in the Little League, so we sort of treat them here in the Little League World Series as their own entity, and it's a place that has such a sense of place, such a personality. Luis Diaz, 5'3", 95 pounds, the center fielder, gets things started for Puerto Rico at the plate. Against Kim, who throws hard.
Throws hard and it's not going to be straight. Left-hander Diaz starting off that fastball from where he's throwing, kind of that low three-quarters, almost sidearm action. Is going to move all the way away from the left-handed hitter. Put yourself in the body of a 12 and a 13-year-old just for a minute and step in and face 72 miles an hour from 46 feet away. That's not comfortable. It's just, this is a different speed than most kids his age are used to seeing.
Time.
And I do think, even though these are the best teams in the world, these teams have had to run the gauntlet to get here, go through all kinds of competition just to make it to Williamsport. It is still the case that most teams don't face, even all the way through their own regionals, don't face the kind of pitching that they see here.
No, I mean, sometimes you have to face your own guys. It's facing the guys in your own team that throw this hard. 73 miles an hour there. That's the equivalent of a 95-mile-an-hour Major League fastball.
Two and two to Luis Diaz. And that's strike three called. How do you get here to Williamsport? Well, local Little League selects all-star teams. There are about 6,500 different leagues worldwide who enter a team. You go through districts, your section, your state, your country tournament, a regional tournament on the international side. That would mean Puerto Rico playing against teams from the Dominican Republic and other Caribbean nations. South Korea plays against Chinese Taipei, other teams in the Asia Pacific region to get here to Williamsport. Second longest layoff. One thing about the international side, they have to go through their tournaments a little earlier in many cases. So it's been a pretty good layoff for these kids. They stay sharp, though. Just because they're not playing official Little League games does not mean they're not playing a lot of baseball.
No, yeah, they're still playing. I mean, 40-day layoff. It's, you know that they're out there most days. And for a lot of these kids, I mean, they've been here for almost a week already. So you get a chance to experience the surroundings. They're on the field every day. Off the field plenty, too. One of my favorite things about this every year is up where the kids stay, there's always an international team that essentially is bunked directly next to a team from the States. So you immediately are getting to know kids from all around the world.
We had a little meeting between catcher and pitcher. So whatever's going on right now has continued into the first inning. Good fastball for strike two.
Those are the ones you wish you could hear. You know, I mean, what they were saying before it started and what we're saying in the middle of the inning, those conversations can go a few different ways.
Now John Lopez at the plate, a very talented young player. That target was set a little bit outside, wasn't it? We got our catcher in the opposite batter's box.
We're about 12 inches off the dish there to start. Just making sure that our 0-2 fastball isn't going to be over the plate.
Now it's 1-2. Yeah, keep creeping out there. And he got him swinging. Something off speed. Kai was talking about the Grove where the kids stay.
Just up top of the hill, and they don't lack for stuff to do. We have to go. We have to do a little ping pong challenge this year.
Could be,
but me and you.
Oh,
that's the challenge.
Ooh.
Nomar traveled with his own paddle a few years ago. I have a feeling you don't do that.
I didn't bring my paddle. I don't have a paddle.
That's why you wouldn't travel with it. But that's all the more reason why we should go up and play.
Challenge accepted. Like it. There's a strike. Carlos De Jesus, first baseman. Bam Bam. Kids have great nicknames. We'll share those with you all tournament long. The kids from Seoul, South Korea have some of the most intricate, elaborate. It's not always as succinct as Bam Bam.
No, there's usually a little longer story to it.
Just for instance, our starting pitcher there, Young Yo Kim, his nickname amongst his teammates is Snake Fastball.
There it was.
And that's what happens when you throw 73 miles an hour at age 12. Two down, bottom one. First game of this 2018 Little League World Series.
John.
And the catcher and pitcher still not quite on the same page. 40 days to get your game plan ironed out. Needed 41.
Spring training effect early. We're all right, though. 2 strikeouts to start. A 1-2 count.
All right, ready to go. Got him. So he strikes out the side. A dominant beginning for Young Yo Kim on the mound for South Korea. No score after 1.
What do you got, Flynn?
All right, so you're thinking, what is this exactly? This is this team from South Seoul Little League, their send-off party, and nobody dances for them. Their send-off is they dance for their own friends and family. How much K-pop knowledge do you have?
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. In fact, I don't want to start talking about it now. I feel like I have to ease into
Save it.
the course of the game. But, and I honestly, I don't want to step on your toes because I know you have a lot yourself.
Well, the Gangnam Style, from a few years ago kind of got me into it. 6-0 in the Asia Pacific Regional. These kids from one of the biggest cities in the world. They were dominant. They were dominant even in South Korea, which is it's a baseball crazy country. So you got the fashion, you got the music, you got the food and the culture in Seoul, which was one of the world's great cities. But baseball, and it is just a passion in South Korea. They have brought fans, friends, family, made the long journey from Seoul here to Williamsport to support their kids. Signs out in full force. And lots of the kids are working on, maybe not totally fluent yet, but lots of these kids are working on their English. Strike one as we get started in the second inning. Shuhu Choi, the left fielder. He's the guardian angel of this team.
Ball out. Thank you.
Game one of this opening round on the international side. 2 international games, 2 U.S. games today. The teams that don't play today will all play tomorrow. So by the end of the day tomorrow, every team here will have played their first game.
Ball.
Everybody plays at least 3. That's what I like. You show up, even if you lose the first 2, ultimately you can't come back through and win the entire thing. But the third game, if you lose the first 2, then you flip. You're going to play international teams plays a team from the States and vice versa.
2-2 hit well, but foul.
Here you go.
We'll get into this a little bit as we go along today. Part of our job today is to introduce these players and teams to you, but it's also to explain there is a lot of strategy in terms of lining up pitching, how you plan the schedule as a coach and manager. How many pitches does your ace throw today? When is he next available? Close. Full count, 3-2. Umpires are also a big part of the story in Williamsport. Troy Layer is our home plate umpire. That one to center field. Right to Luis Diaz. One away. Umpires are all volunteer. They only get to come to Williamsport once, so you get to experience this, and you're here for the full Little League World Series. But it's the one and only trip for all of these folks who dedicate themselves to the game. They pay their own way here. Troy Lair, nice enough to wear the microphones. We get to hear some of the sounds of baseball with our home plate ump.
Did you ever umpire? You're growing up?
Yeah, not as much as I mean, I did a few times, but it was hard. It was hard enough to where I didn't want to keep doing it.
Yeah, I did it. I did it when I was younger. Not an easy job. Little breaking ball there from Eric Rodriguez. We've seen a few of them already. John Lopez is the catcher for this team from Puerto Rico. We got a chance to spend a little time with him yesterday. This kid can play the game. He moves around different. It's a big-time arm. Plays the part of catcher. We'll see if we see that arm at all today. Back-to-back off-speed. Second strikeout of the ball game for Eric Rodriguez.
Do we have a little confusion about how many outs there were? I don't think from John Lopez, the catcher.
Yeah, he wasn't going anywhere.
Maybe Eric thought he'd.
It's all right. Run until they tell you to come back. They let you keep going. It works.
Yeah, you can smile about it now. 2 down. Woo Young Lee. And sometimes you can't tell. The kids who have played the game for a while, especially a catcher, which is such a demanding position for any kid who's 12 years old. This kid knows what he's doing behind the plate.
Absolutely. I mean, the movements look, a lot of times they look like big league movements. I love watching infield, just seeing the way the kids move around, especially the middle infielders, how they get to it, movement to the ball. Beautiful spotted deer. We're going 3 right here. Spotted deer at 2, Hopper back to the mound. It's a 1, 2, 3 seconds. So the spotted deer goes down. Zeros across the board so far. Open things up in South Williamsport. Welcome back.
The only thing that says small town America more than Main Street, Mom, and Apple Pie is a parade like this one, the annual Grand Slam Parade that welcomes the world to Williamsport and the Little League World Series.
We were there last night, and maybe that little guy was there too. Big smile on day 1 of the Little League World Series. Kids all participate in the parade and then in the opening ceremonies here on the morning of day 1. Now we're into the baseball, and everybody can lock in on playing their best ball or taking their best shot at the concession stand. All the gear that you see around these 2 beautiful ballparks. We got new scoreboards this year. Williamsport, yeah, fantastic. As always, big crowds. Look how nice that looks.
Cool, big gift by the Easton Foundation. Jim Easton's foundation, new scoreboards at both places. A video board in between the 2 ballparks now.
Victor Cartagena, the shortstop. Start him off with a little breaking ball. Victor's 12 years old. It's cleanup in this lineup for Puerto Rico.
Oh, you okay? Hold on, I got you.
The language of baseball. Even if you don't speak the same language, the umpires and the catchers, they take care of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. A little tip of the hat too from Young Hung Kim, the pitcher, into his catcher just to make sure he was all right.
Oh, 2. Right there on the outside. So 1 out. Let's go down to Sebastian.
Hey guys, I'm here amongst the 5 Korean moms that made the trip. No dads, I'm told. Most of the dads had to stay home to work. But though the Korean parents may be few, the Korean fans are many. That's another great part of covering the international bracket. You get to see the local expat communities embrace the teams of their heritage. We met one family from across the state of Pennsylvania, drove 3 hours just to watch this Korean team play. Another family that drove 6 hours from Massachusetts to watch this team play. And a local Korean-American couple actually going to host the team, the coaches, the parents next Monday night for a big bulgogi kimchi dinner. Guys, we have been invited. So, Dave, KP, I know your social schedule gets very busy here in Williamsport. I need you to clear next Monday night, okay?
That's big news for us, personally.
Sebastian taking care of us, man. That's huge.
Day 1.
Yes.
Starting to plot out the schedule for us all. Hey, that is so cool how the local community adopts these kids for a couple weeks and their families. Helps make Williamsport feel more like home. Devin Ortiz takes a strike. 1-2. 25 years later, so many of these kids love the Sandlot.
Thinking about it, I love it. The staying power of that movie. Pretty awesome for kids to grow up and like this game.
That is 5 strikeouts in a row. 2 down, bases empty. Focused on fun, fitness, and fundamentals. The Little League journey starts with T-ball. Visit littleleague.org/T-ball for our free 10-week practice plan to keep the youngest Little Leaguers moving, having fun, learning the games of baseball and softball. So even if you think, how do I coach? How do I help kids start to learn to love this game? Well, we help you out.
Set you up. Get you the practice plan. The most important part, just being out there with them. Just being out there with the kids.
Big reaction to that call.
Well, think about it, too, when you were growing up. I mean, you remember the coaches that you had when you were 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. A lot of times they're coaches that end up really shaping your experience within the game and your experience within athletics moving forward. Pretty good start. Young Kim on the mound, struck out all 5, now an 0-2 count right here to Eric Rodriguez, the 6th hitter of the game.
Kind of that slow, deliberate uncoiling, and then the power comes out of the arm.
Which, to me, it's always interesting, too, to see the mechanical similarities that you see from the different areas around the world every year. This is a typical motion that you will see from kids from South Korea. Slow, deliberate, the slow leg kick, everything gets in line, and then everything towards home plate.
2-2.
2-2. It's been a pretty great start for that kid. Trying to strike out the side for a 2nd straight inning. Not a bad swing by Eric Rodriguez.
Thank you.
We got a little nervous energy going. See if Eric can come up with a hit.
I love the antics back behind home plate. Gi-Jung Kim is the catcher. We got a lot of hand movement before every pitch, and you'll see him sometimes. There we go. We got a little there. We make it a little bit right now. Then I usually yell right before the pitch.
Ball.
Yeah, we shook our head no, then we nodded our head yeah.
Went no, and now we got to give some positive reinforcement back. So we're gonna shake yes.
Well, the catcher's the captain out there in a lot of ways. He's trying to act like it. There's some of that encouragement vocally. Ball 4. First base runner for Puerto Rico. My son. Gabriel Rivera will come up, the third baseman.
Ball.
One of the things Gabriel told us when we talked to him, we talked to all the kids leading into the Little League World Series, just try to get to know them a little better. You see their nicknames, their favorite athletes, favorite baseball players. He, like so many of the kids, looking forward to Sunday night when the big league Mets and Phillies will be here for the 2nd year in a row. We're going to have a major league game in Williamsport.
Little League Classic back for the 2nd year, and that was a baseball day that I won't forget from last year. And just the reaction, really, of the big league. You know what the kids, what their reaction is going to be. They're around major leaguers, many of them, in fact, most of them, for the first time ever. But the big leaguers, when they got in this environment, turned into kids themselves. It was pretty cool, and expect that we'll see the same thing again this year.
The Mets and the Phillies, the players will come over, visit with the kids, see the stadium, see Williamsport when they arrive on Sunday morning, and then go get ready for the game. 7 o'clock Eastern Sunday Night Baseball from Williamsport, Mets Phillies. That's a strike, first strike that Kim has thrown in a while. Full count, 3-2. Came up ready to throw. That's ball 4. Back-to-back walks. One thing about this year's matchup, Todd Frazier, Michael Conforto on the Mets side, Scott Kingery on the Phillies side, all three of them not just played Little League Baseball. Everybody in the game basically played Little League Baseball. They played here. All three of them here in Williamsport in the Little League World Series.
Todd Frazier's Tom's River team won the Little League World Series title. Michael Conforto, one of the few that played the Little League World Series and a College World Series, did it with Oregon State in Omaha a few years ago.
Michael Conforto is going to be here with us on the air on Sunday morning when the Mets arrive. Todd Frazier will be up at Lomedy. It's the 20th anniversary of that Little League World Series championship for Todd Frazier. Luis Rivera, the right fielder on this team, with 2 on and 2 out. Chance for Puerto Rico to take a lead. A good swing, foul ball up onto the rooftop.
Two strikes. Play.
0-2.
Ball.
Close, but missed.
One, two.
That one right there. So a little bit of wildness, but Young Yo Kim managed to find the strike zone, and he's got 6 strikeouts through 2. Well, just up the hill from us here at Volunteer, the kids from Des Moines, Iowa are making their way into Lomedy, getting ready for the first game on the U.S. side coming up after us, 3 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Beautiful day in Williamsport. We are back. It's the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Puerto Rico, South Korea, the first game on the international side. And so far, so good for the pitchers. These games, look, first of many for everybody here, but these are important. The last 17 champions started the Little League World Series with a victory. So it's not impossible. It has happened before, but it just sets everything up if you win that first game.
Absolutely.
Ball. Out.
And the matchups get determined randomly, so there also can be a little bit of good fortune in terms of facing a powerhouse team or not in your first game. These two teams, it's only 2 innings, but both look like they're contenders.
Yeah, especially on the mound. I mean, no hits allowed on either side, a few walks, but plenty of strikeouts. And velocity for both kids has been into the 70s already. And we talked about it too. I mean, just, yes, the environment, kids are excited to get in. There's some nerves too. I mean, this is not an easy place to roll into when you're this age.
Time, you got it.
Look around, you got people in the stands for the first time. They're announcing your name. You see your face on the board. I mean, there's a lot of things that have never happened in their lives that happened today for the first time.
Tae-Yoon Kim, third baseman. 2-2. Prides himself on his defense. Hey, we watched South Korea take infield, very vocal, very energetic. You just sort of read body language, but he seems like one of the leaders of this team. 3-2. Eagle Eye is his nickname amongst his teammates.
It's no beautiful spotted deer, but it's still impressive.
It's still pretty good. 3-2. Let's see that Eagle Eye. He took a big cut. Still full. I heard lots of good things about the team from the Latin American region. They're here watching this game. This year, a team from Panama representing Latin America. Full count, 3-2. Tae-Yoon Kim, one of the questions that our folks ask a lot of these kids is, let's say you won the lottery, what would you do? And you get some fun answers. This kid, nothing will change. All I want is baseball. And he thought that was ball 4. Strike 3 called. What do we think?
Well, I think it's a pretty good fastball that we've seen so far from Eric Rodriguez. I mean, it's a Little League strike zone. It's supposed to be a little bit bigger.
Yep.
A little bit higher. Looks like it catches enough of it right there. 3-2, probably close enough. You got to go after it. Third strikeout of the game for Eric Rodriguez. Neither side has given up a hit so far.
One out for Jungwoo Lim, who is the right fielder and 9th place hitter in this lineup. Trying to get some defensive signals. In fact, we're switching positions out in the outfield. This is taking
this is
taking the shift to an extreme.
I would say so. Wow. Switcheroo and left and right.
Now we're going to have to see after this hitter. Are we going to switch back?
Play.
That's a little extra strategy we haven't seen in Williamsport before. One out. In play, out number 2. And what are we going to do out there? We're going to stay put? Nope. Here we go.
Keep your legs loose. We got defensive analytics making an appearance in Williamsport for the first time. Flip it up in the middle of a bat. Now we'll go right on back where we started.
How about that? Now maybe the big leaguers are watching and thinking, huh?
That's not a bad idea.
We see all the defensive shifts and strategy at the major league level. We don't see that.
Oh.
Oh Yom, 13 years old, pinch hitting, so he gets his first at bat. One and one. 2 down, nobody on. We calling pitches over there?
We are.
Yep.
Carlos Texador is the manager of this team from Puerto Rico. He's got just enough space out of that fence to hold it. Look at this. Just enough. To give the pitching signs in. I like it. Got to adjust a little bit.
Go back to a slider here. Two and two.
You okay? You okay? Yes. 2-2. Wait. 3.
Pitch calling seemed to be pretty good there. A strikeout for out number 3. No score. South Korea, Puerto Rico.
Need a ticket to enjoy this show, just some ingenuity to make your chair fit just right on the hillside.
Well, you and I both noticed when we made our way in today, the hill is particularly green. They've had a lot of rain.
Give it time.
And we will see how long that lasts. Maybe not beyond today. Our full schedule for our opening day this 2018 Little League World Series. Iowa, New York follows us. Then Kyle and I are back for Australia, Mexico on the international side over on ESPN2. The final game of the night, Texas and Rhode Island. So the 8 teams that don't begin their Little League World Series journey today will all play tomorrow. We're at Volunteer. They have a hill here at Volunteer. Tucked down the right field line. Fans looking for some shade. It is hot. It is steamy. It is still very much summertime in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Play.
Bottom of the 3rd. Puerto Rico against Young Kim, who has struck out 6 in 2 innings. That's good. He did walk 2 in the second, was having a little bit harder time with his command. Angel Vasquez, his first at bat of the Little League World Series. Strike 1. I think you can hear through the umpire's microphone, our catcher.
It's about every pitch. I love it. There's some kind of movement every pitch. There's some kind of verbal back to his pitcher about every pitch.
2-2. One thing that this hitter, Angel Vasquez, told us so far, his most impressionable thing about coming to Pennsylvania, the hamburgers are much better than at home. Not the fields are so green, or look how big the stadiums are. Look at those new video boards.
You should taste these burgers.
3-2.
I'd have one at home. They'd probably say the same thing.
Full count here. Leading off in the bottom of the 3rd. And another strikeout for Kim. That's his 7th. Now let's say hi again to Sebastian.
Hey guys, I don't know if you remember from last year, but we got so many anecdotes of how much these South Korean kids love to eat meat, specifically red meat. I think we found the one Korean kid that doesn't. He's our pitcher here, Young Kim. His preferred pregame meal is eel over rice. Now, I'm not sure, but I think the Wegmans here in town might be short on eel supply. So his mom's been kind of scrambling. She is one of the 5 moms that's here from Team Korea. She's been scrambling to try and find an alternative. But if he can't draw from his energy, he can draw from the inspiration of his cousin, who's a pro pitcher in the Korean League and has been sending him messages of encouragement all week.
I like it. Sebastian, can we make sure we get eel on the menu Monday night, too?
I'm on it, guys. I'm on it.
You're kind of driving that bus right now, so if you could do that, that'd be great.
We're going to be there for the banquet. We're going to put in requests.
That's right.
0-1 to a pinch hitter and a breaking ball in for a strike. Almircal Rodriguez takes an at bat. Oh, 2.
Oh. 1 and 2.
Oh. Our beautiful spotted deer over at first base. In case you're thinking, huh? That's his nickname. Woo Yeon Lee, the first baseman for Seoul, South Korea. He has his own set of food superstitions.
Okay.
Because deers are, you know, they're picky eaters.
Deer.
Will not deer. Yeah, well, that was what a
clarify.
Wow, this. Deers. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. We'll see. Is it playable? Yes, it is. Nice play by Ji Young Kim.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
2 down. No, you got to get that right. Let's watch this first before I get back into the food.
He can move around too. We've already seen how he controls the game back behind old play. Gi Jong Jim, we don't need to shed the mask. He knows right where he's at. That ball's going to come back to him. I think this is one of the tougher plays for a kid too, as you're growing up, because you don't see it very much. Just to understand that baseball is going to come back to you. Now we take it off. Got to get a little camera time. Go make the play, peel the mask off, get on camera, shake a hand, go back to work.
John Lopez will come up. 2 catchers saying hello to one another. But our beautiful spotted deer, he will not. There are a few foods that are off the list pregame. That's his superstition. Will not eat.
Okay.
Boiled eggs. Can't eat boiled eggs before the game. Cannot eat bananas before the game.
Okay.
And absolutely no seaweed soup.
I've said that my whole life. No seaweed soup before the game.
John, on the other hand, loves to have lobster. This is a kid you worked with yesterday on those building block segments. Very polished player. They call him the leader of this team.
Play.
Oh, 1. He takes a big cut.
Two strikes.
Got the call on the outside, strike 3. So pitching has dominated through 3. 0-0 South Korea, Puerto Rico. Already great images from Game 1, Day 1, Little League World Series, our Honda game summary. It has been the starting pitchers, Kyle, who've dominated so far.
Good work, boys. 3 innings each. 3 walks combined, but the big number, the 12 strikeouts and no hits. Both have been really impressive so far. Pitch count's decent. 51 and 45 so far as we're halfway home in Game 1 of this Little League World Series.
A beautiful day in Williamsport. Dave Fleming, Kyle Peterson, Volunteer Stadium. The spot for international side Game 1 is definitely hot. Well, I don't know about putting some back in, but it is hot enough for the maybe a little brain freeze.
Right.
What do you think?
Just a little aggressive on the spoonful. We had to make an in-game adjustment right there.
That's what happens when you try to show off for the camera. What's that, a slushy shaved ice? What are we calling that here at Williams?
Fire.
Yeah, either one. Top 4.
You put it in a snow cone, it's a snow cone.
Correct.
He got into this argument with Ben McDonald, and he's wrong. Because he calls it a snowball, and that's not accurate.
A snowball?
Exactly.
Sorry, Ben. Ben's good at a lot of stuff.
Snow cones?
We found a flaw.
Exactly. It's taken a while.
2-0 here, Eric Rodriguez. This is now the second time through for these kids from Seoul to see Rodriguez. The count is 3-0. Jong-Yo Park, the shortstop, grounded out his first time up. Will he swing away 3-0? I think he was taking all the way. He takes a strike. Two. Almost like he was taking again. Showing a bunt. Who knows? Maybe his manager wanted him to take another pitch.
Comfortable with 2 strikes.
He might be their best overall hitter. He asked for time. Full count, 3-2. Spoils 1 foul. We're already in the 4th inning. Remember, these are 6-inning games. 2, 3, 4 hitters lined up for South Korea. Second time through against a pitcher they've now seen once. But this feels like a big at-bat and a big part of this game.
I think that second time through is a big deal. I mean, for the hitters, you know that there's going to be some nerves when they step up there, too. Now, leadoff walk for Park to start the 4th inning.
It's also the time of the game where we start to think about the mandatory play rules. So it depends on how many players are on each team, which set of rules are in play, right?
It does, yeah. 13 or 14 players, which each of these teams have. So ultimately, each player must bat once. 12 or fewer. Everybody's got to play 6 consecutive defensive outs, bat once. Something new this year, which I think is a very good thing. Managers' failure or refusal to do this. Immediate ejection. Removal without replacement for the balance of the international tournament, or in this case, the Little League World Series.
Time. We're going to have a meeting on the mound. We do have a microphone on our manager.
ese es bateador de fuerza. Si es toque, lo va a coger Eric. Tú cierras la raya y juegas atrás. Buscamos matar a ese jugador, doble play. O sea, si batea en toque, nos vamos por primera. ¿Está bien? Me sigue John. 3 curvas, 2 es pegado y 1 es recta afuera. ¿Está bien? Estamos, muchachos, vamos que salimos. Vamos. También.
Well, Carlos with some words of encouragement and also talked a little pitch strategy, mixing in a curveball with some of his fastballs. That's a rough translation of what that meeting was all about.
I think you nailed it.
Wait.
A runner at first, nobody out.
Oh.
And part of the message also was, speaking about this hitter coming up here, Ji-Young Choi, is that he likes to swing the bat. He wants to hit.
Right in the middle of this South Korea lineup. Ji-Young Choi's first at bat walked. That time first pitch breaking ball, put a good swing on it, just caught the top half of the ball.
1-1. Rodriguez got him to chase. It's that good breaking ball, 1-2. I mean, early on in our game, you said put yourself in the place of some of these kids as young as they are, seeing the high velocity stuff, and then mix that with that.
Yeah. No, you can't just sit and wait for the old number one.
Oh, shimmy. Did you see that?
Yes, they watch TV.
We got a little Johnny Cueto shoulder shimmy before the 1-2 pitch.
Johnny Cueto, Marcus Stroman. A little different look on the way. And a 1 and a 2. Now we go. Gotta love that.
Lopez has got a very strong arm. Just couldn't get to it quickly enough. You see the haircut. They get hidden with the caps and the masks and whatnot, the batting helmets, but all the players, some maybe more successfully than others, tried to have the same hairstyle for the Little League World Series. We were told it was John's idea.
Some more successfully than others.
Well, is that a polite way to say it?
It is. It's not easy.
It's not the easiest look to pull off. That one popped way up there, and I mean way up. Who's going to get it? The first baseman, Carlos De Jesus. He found it. Luis Rivera out in right field. I don't think he ever saw it. He's talking to some of his teammates now. That turned into a pretty good play.
Yeah, it was. And ultimately, when this ball goes up, this is Carlos De Jesus' ball the entire time. Watch the route, though, and I like this. He runs through the spot. He gets lost a little bit, but then spins. So the one thing you don't want to do as an infielder is drift to that ball. The wind's blowing out. It's going to take it a little bit further, but he did turn his back to the infield. Turned his back to the infield, found his spot, then turned around, found the baseball, made a good play.
So that's out number 1. If that one falls in, then you're talking big-time trouble. Here's our catcher, very vocal behind the plate. Ji-Young Kim with a bat in his hand. He is the cleanup hitter. Oh, it almost got him. One thing about Little League Baseball this year, this is the year where the new bat standards came into play. So all throughout our regionals, our Little League World Series, on the ground toward first, but foul. These are new bats in terms of the technology, and part of that has been that home runs all across the board have been down. A lot of times we come here to Williamsport, and the home run ball sort of determines things. The team that can hit it over the fence is the team that has the most success, and that may be a little different this year.
We'll still see some. I mean, the guys that have the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, it'll still carry. But the bat's essentially the equivalent of a wood bat. So the speed that the ball comes off of it are the same as it would off of a wood bat.
In a lot of ways, that's kind of the idea. You can have the synthetic bats, but let's try to have them react the way a wood bat would. Strike 3 called. 2 down.
I'll tell you something. When you're little, Not even when you're little. When you get older, watch where John Lopez, the catcher, sets up. They're trying to go fastball inside. You got a big-time power hitter hanging over that plate, and it's not easy to convince yourself to throw the ball to that spot when you got a guy standing there that you know can hit the scoreboard if he goes and gets it. That's well done by Eric Rodriguez. That's not easy to do when you're 25 throwing at the big league sometime. You got to see a guy hanging over home plate, but saw the spot, executed it, got a big strikeout.
2 down. Shuhu Choi, left fielder. That one, maybe Lopez got fooled a little bit by that pitch. They're going to call that a pass ball. That moves the runner to third. Park. That would be the first run of the game. That puts a little extra pressure on the defense with 2 outs. A bobble, a mistake, and that could be the first run of the game.
This is one of those games, too, where one feels like a lot.
Yeah.
Just as good as both guys have been on the mound.
Coaches wear the microphones for us. We don't eavesdrop on the conversations that kids have with one another. Even if sometimes we really would like to know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
One ball. Wait. Ball.
Not a bad pitch, but it's 2-0.
2-0.
To center field. Here comes Diaz to make the catch. Out number 3. South Korea threatens, but they do not score. Still 0-0 in Williamsport.
Would be excited to meet the big leaguers and their heroes. This is something they will never forget.
All 16 teams have gathered here to see a big league game. And Bell cranks one. First pitch gone. A diving catch.
Well, it was such a success. We're doing it again. The 2018 version of the MLB Little League Classic. This Sunday, 7 Eastern, we will have the telecast right here on ESPN. The Mets and the Phillies, 3 different players will play in the game on Sunday that were here in Williamsport in the Little League World Series when they were kids. Todd Frazier, Michael Conforto, Scott Kingery. Another aspect of last year that I thought was just so great, aside from all the interaction with the players, the big leaguers, and the kids here, that Bowman Field is the 2nd oldest ballpark in minor league baseball, and MLB and the players and Little League all chipped in. They spent, what, $4 million to get the field total big league ready, and it played like a big league ballpark would.
We both had a chance to go over and watch that last year. That was a cool setting. You see all the teams come out, kids get to throw first pitches, and be on the field of a major league game. Not too many kids that get to do that ever.
And it's still, even though the field got refurbished and they got it as nice as they possibly could, it still holds 3,000 folks. It's this tiny little ballpark with 2 big league teams out there, and we'll have it again on Sunday. Carlos De Jesus, who caught the pop-up that was not a routine play in the top of this 4th inning, now leads off in the bottom of the 4th. Still no hits on either side. Pitching has dominated. Oh, and 2. I told you Carlos's nickname Bam Bam. His mom gave him the nickname. That one got by the catcher. So it was strike 3, but De Jesus is going to reach base. We'll see if that turns into a very big play. That's going to be scored as a pass ball.
Young Kim, the catcher, and you can see the action of Young Kim, the pitcher. A lot of times during the course of this game, that fastball moves away from the left-hand hitter. That one didn't. That one's tough for his catcher to handle. Ends up a pitch that gets enough of a swing for a called strike, or a swinging strike, but gets to the backstop, and Puerto Rico has Another base runner, 2 walks, and now a strikeout, and a ball that went to the backstop of the 3 base runners so far for Puerto Rico.
And we are going to have both a pinch runner and a pinch hitter. Leonel Gomez will hit. We have a special pinch runner rule in Little League, twice a game, but not more than 1 time per inning. A team can use a player who's not in the batting order as a special pinch runner. A specific player can only be removed for a special pinch runner 1 time during a game. Essentially, you run for a player, and that player, it's not like that kid has to come out of the game permanently. So Roberto Gilbert will come in and be the runner. We got a conference on the mound. So while we have a moment, let's check in with Sebastian.
Hey guys, our pinch hitter here for Puerto Rico, Leonel Gomez, is one of the kids who was most affected by Hurricane Maria. I was talking to his mom. She said, you know, the roof of the house was torn off. They lost clothes, televisions, electronics, everything. They had to go to the aunt's house to live for 2 months. The aunt's house was made of cement. It's one of the reasons it survived, the brutal nature of the storm. Even being made of cement, there was water coming through the windows. It gives you an idea of the level of destruction and devastation that these kids lived through.
Hard to describe how much has impacted every one of these kids and families. To second, and not in time. Very close. South Korea took a chance on a bunt to try to get the lead runner. The aggressive slide by the special pinch runner called safe.
It's an aggressive move. Let's see if the ball beat him. Yeah, it's close.
Really close.
It's really close. And it was a great reaction on the mound by Hyung Kim. You're trying to get that lead runner if you can. The bunt is down. It's not a bad bunt. I mean, the first thing you want to do is get it down. Remember, this is 70 miles an hour with the ball moving down in the zone. Leonel Gomez does his job, gets it down on the ground. Let's see if that front foot gets there just in time. That's about as close as you can make it right there.
I think he beat it. Now, we may have a replay review. The coaches for South Korea are talking to our home plate umpire, and I think they are going to ask that this play get reviewed. That is a reviewable play. We have instant replay here in the Little League World Series. Hopefully the shortstop is okay, who took the throw.
He took the throw and he took the brunt of a slide. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the base runner Gomez is just trying to get in there fast. But I mean, watch just the concentration on this one to catch it, and then at the same time that back foot gets knocked out by the slide coming into second base, and he holds the ball.
And the cleat came right into his ankle, his shin, right there. All right, what's our ruling? Safe. I was very close, and I think for South Korea, it was worth taking a look, worth asking. Here are the replay rules. Televised games in the regionals and the Little League World Series force out tags, miss bases, hit batters. There are other plays that are reviewable. Managers get unlimited successful challenges, but you cannot challenge after 2 unsuccessful challenges in the first 6 innings. You get an extra one for extra innings. The final game of every play is reviewed. So one of those challenges for South Korea is gone because it was not successful here, and we've got our first real rally of this game, and it could be that we're going to see another bunt here. First and second, nobody out. Devin Ortiz, he's a good hitter, but it's a spot that Puerto Rico could decide to try to move those runners up. You think about what's on the line. These are 6-inning games. We're in the bottom of the 4th, scoreless. Still no hits on either side. And that note we passed along earlier, 17 years in a row, the Little League World Series champion won its first game. A show of a bunt, and he did go after it. That's strike 1. 71-mile-an-hour fastball with movement. You got force plays on, which makes the bunt have to be maybe a little bit more precise than it would be otherwise. Those corner infielders are really pinched in. One and one. I would think in an ideal world, Devin Ortiz, if he could bunt it towards third base.
Absolutely. Yep. You want the third baseman to vacate if you can. So the corners are going to come in. First baseman, third baseman are going to come in. And ideally here, first and foremost, you want to get it down, especially with one strike. But if you can force the third baseman to vacate and come make the play, base runner should move up.
Yep. Yeah, he went for it. Yeah, he did.
1-2.
So now if you're Puerto Rico with 2 strikes, do you ask him to try to bunt again?
I don't. No, just because the stuff has been that good. Young Kim, we talked about the strikeouts. That's 9 of them so far. And that fastball is moving away from the left-hander, and it's moving away quick.
He swung away and strikes out swinging. Big first out for Kim and South Korea. 10th strikeout of the game.
Watch the movement on this fastball. Eyes on his catcher the entire time. That low 3/4 kind of sidearm action. You can see the spin on the baseball too. When he gets through it like that, and that spin is side to side, the movement is going to take it away from the left-handed hitter. It makes it tougher to bunt. Makes it tougher to square up. There with 2 strikes, just let it go.
We got replay in Williamsport soon. We'll have spin rates and launch angles and exit velocity.
Be long.
Here's Eric Rodriguez, the pitcher, who's done such a great job on the mound. A check swing roller. And can they get there in time? Out. The play at home. Safe. Daring base running. Now a dash for third and safe there. First run of the game comes across after a play at first. Very aggressive coaching and running.
Well, sometimes you got to take a few chances, and Eric Rodriguez does right here. Run it to first base. We blow a tire right there, but he ends up beating it down to first. Big time base runner. Roberto Joubert had come into this game as a special pinch runner earlier. He was standing at second base. Clearly beats it to first. Now we turn into a fielder over at first to try to make that throw home. It's a chance you got to take, and it's a big time slide. I'm not sure if the lead foot got there, but I think the back knee got there in time. And heads up base running all the way around. Leonel Gomez, who was starting on first base, ends up at third after the play at home plate.
Well, you think back, that special pinch runner that you pointed out, Roberto Joubert, he went aggressively to second. That very close play on the bunt with a great slide right to the bag to just stay alive at second base and then to come tearing around from third.
So we may have a few different challenges here.
Yeah.
The first would be Eric Rodriguez, the hitter who was going to first base. He was called out on the play. I think that'll get reversed. I think ultimately he'll be called safe. The second, and I think if you're South Korea, you got to take a chance. You got to take a chance and challenge the play at the plate. We'll see if they challenge the play at first base. I think you have to do that too.
So that may well end up being scored, since the call at first was reversed. That may well end up being scored as the first hit of the game.
Yeah. I think it has to be, doesn't it?
I think so. There was no bobble. There was no error. He just beat it out.
Watch the wheel go flying at the end too. Right foot. He's all the way on the outside part of the base trying to avoid the base runner. And now we're going to lose a wheel.
The cleat comes flying off, but he was safe. And now South Korea only 1 out, because that was going to be out number 2. Only 1 out. Are they talking about things here now that the coaches from Puerto Rico came over to the home plate umpires back on headset?
One thing to watch the glove in the left hand of Eric Rodriguez, the base runner. Watch the left hand right there come up the glove, and I think the only question, the foot definitely beat him to first base. The only question was whether the glove got the left hand at first base. Ultimately, Eric Rodriguez safe at first, base runner safe at home, and Puerto Rico scores the first run of this Little League World Series.
Wow.
And I love taking the chance there.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the feel of a 1-0, 2-1. I mean, every run is really going to count. Sometimes you got to take a chance on the base pass, and ultimately it was going to take a really good throw and the ability to spin and make the throw home quickly to have any chance to get a base runner at home plate.
And you know what? It's a good point you make. Sometimes that pitcher, in an attempt to argue with the umpire or argue with the call, I really don't think there was much hesitation at all. Maybe just a split second, but Kim was aware, and he wheeled around and made a good throw home. And that is the first hit of the game. Luis Rivera will come up as a pinch hitter. But the coaches from South Korea, and this is what you were referencing, there's a whole second part of that play. We reviewed the play at first. Are we going to review the play at the plate?
I think they already did. I think they reviewed the play at home plate.
Oh, they
already.
did.
They
So
went
that
back
was
and
our first
reviewed the
ruling.
play
Okay.
first, correct.
Yeah.
So both
Okay.
both have been reviewed.
Okay.
Both have been, well, one upheld and then the other overturned at first base.
All right. So both plays were. So that would mean that South Korea now is out of challenges, correct?
Correct.
For the rest of the regulation time of this game. Luis D. Rivera. There are two different Luis Riveras on this team from Puerto Rico. This is Luis D., who has not yet had an at-bat until now. 13 years old. Big Papi, they call him. And he said that when we asked him about the nickname, he said, well, somebody in the stands at one of their games called him that just sort of randomly, was shouting it at him, and his teammate said, oh, that fits. That's what we're going to call you. Big moment in this game here. Puerto Rico has broken through with the first run. That's a strike. For more on Big Papi, number 26, here's Sebastian.
So I was talking to his mom, Olga, and usually you hear from these kids, and it's the dads that start playing baseball with them. Not in Luis's case. Olga says she taught him everything he knows. Now, here's what gets interesting. She's a Red Sox fan. He's a Yankees fan. He started hitting home runs when he was 6. I think that's where the nickname comes from. They started calling him Big Papi, so he's a Yankees fan with the nickname Big Papi. You guys following that?
Do we have a ruling on that, or is that acceptable? Are we okay with that?
Entirely acceptable for 12-year-olds. Entirely acceptable. Yep.
He lines one. That's a clean single that will score the second run of the inning. Smoked it. Big Papi. Olga saying, I taught him that.
First at bat, facing a fastball in the 70s. That ball's going to come back into him because the head of the bat out there lines it out to left field. That's probably the hardest hit ball that we've seen the entire game right there.
I think so.
Luis Rivera adds another one right here, and first 2 hits of the ball game for Puerto Rico. First 2 runs of the game this inning.
Yadiel Delgado will hit. Big Papi. He did manage to slip into us that, hey, you know, if the real Big Papi wanted to send me a signed jersey or
I'd be all right with
one of his chains or something, that'd be fine.
You don't know if you don't ask, huh?
Still only 1 out. Crazy inning here. Remember, it all got started on a strikeout. The ball got to the backstop on strike 3. So Carlos De Jesus reached base safely. Puerto Rico used a special pinch runner, which turned out to be a great decision because Roberto Llobert had 2 different excellent base running plays. A sacrifice bunt where the pitcher Kim very aggressively tried to get the lead runner. Close play. It was reviewed, did not get him. And then the infield hit by Eric Rodriguez and the dash around third. The daring base running, scoring from second on an infield hit. And the clean single by Luis D. Rivera for run number 2, 2-0. 0-2 to Yadiel Delgado.
Oh.
I want a little check swing bloop. Foul ball.
Already seen this inning. You put things in play, you got a chance for things offensively to happen. That ball's a good 6 inches off the plate too, and it's moving away from Yadier Delgado. The hitter got just enough to put it in play, but just foul.
Good swing there. Another foul ball. Yadiel, who's a big Minnesota Twins fan. Why? Because Eddie Rosario is a star for the Twins, and not only is he from Puerto Rico, he is from Yadiel's neighborhood. Yadiel tells us he's been over to his house, so he is a big Eddie Rosario fan who sent a nice message to these kids of support before his Little League World Series started. 2-2. Eddie Rosario's turned into a heck of a player.
Yes, he has.
Oh. 3-2.
Full count here. Big pitch. Struck him out swinging. That's out number 2. Let's go back to Sebastian.
Hey guys, we got Big Papi on base. We got his mom Olga right here with us. Olga, a ver, cuéntame, ¿cuáles son tus emociones a ver tu hijo representar a Puerto Rico y de esta manera?
Una emoción grande, inmensa, y espero que esto siga hasta que terminemos quedar campeones de Williamsport.
I asked her what it meant to see her son represent Puerto Rico in this way. I think you can tell by the emotion. I don't really need to translate what it means, but really for her, she's saying she hopes that it keeps going all the way to the championship, and I think all the fans here are with her as well. Me contaste antes que tú eres aficionada de los Red Sox, él de los Yankees. ¿Cómo viven eso entre ustedes?
Pues lo vivimos con calma, nos damos bullying, pero cada cual va a su equipo. Nos respetamos en eso.
You know, she's a Yankees fan, he's a Red Sox fan. How did that rivalry kind of manifest itself between the two of them? She says, we're calm. They use the word bullying. You know, they trash talk a little bit, but, you know, at the end of the day, everybody roots for their team. Guys, back up to you.
Great to see Mom as proud as she is. Her kid with the big hit of the inning in a lot of ways. Add-on run, 2-0. Roberto Hubert, who was a special pinch runner and a huge part of the rally, now is a pinch hitter. We saw the speed of Roberto. He can move.
Yeah, it changed his game.
It really did. I think you can make a case without that speed, they don't get anything. Big Papi made sure it wasn't just a 1-run rally, it was a 2-run rally. Our first 2 hits, our first 2 runs. Yeah, Mom, who else can I high five? 2-0, Puerto Rico. Well, welcome back to the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Day 1 of the 2018 Little League World Series in Williamsport. Inside Volunteer Stadium, the first game on the international side. What a wild bottom of the 4th inning. Puerto Rico scores the first 2 runs, and South Korea's got work to do with only 2 innings left to go here. 6-inning games in Little League, down 2-0. Korea, a team from South Korea, has never lost an opening game in Williamsport. They have had some powerhouse teams over the years. Of course, we always remind everybody they're different kids, so sometimes we maybe make a little too much of that history, but there's just so much great young baseball talent in the city of Seoul. These kids from South Seoul Little League. It's their first trip to Williamsport, but big expectations back home in that dugout, and now having to play from behind, 2-0.
Play.
Eric Rodriguez, the pitcher, still in the game.
Ball.
Yo Kim, who struck out looking his first time up. He is the starting pitcher. 21.
21.
That's a pretty impressive fastball.
Yeah, it is. And that time trying to go fastball outside the first 3 pitches. 2 times hit the zone. The other just missed.
Got him.
Stayed right with it. So pitch count matter, and thankfully this is one of the things that Little League was really at the forefront of. That 66 pitch count is the biggest number, and both of these kids have gone over it today. You get to that point, you're required at least 4 days rest, so kind of a normal major league rest when you can come back, and then cascading down from there depends how far you can go. The one change this year that was different in the past, you cannot throw back-to-back-to-back days even if you stay under that 20 pitch count number.
Jae-Woo Young will hit for Seoul Little League. Wearing number 4. Takes a strike. And that's a lot of times they call him supersonic. A lot of times those pitch limits and eligibility rules are why winning the first game and then getting a couple days off sets your pitching up for the rest of the entire tournament. 0-2.
You don't think they don't watch the big league games? I mean, I love this little move right here. Comes up to that set position, holds just a little bit, goes back and forth, and all it's trying to do is just mess with the hitter's timing, especially if you're throwing the same pitch back to back.
None this time. Got him swinging. Went up. To me, he is throwing the best he has all game right now.
Yep, no, agreed. And there is a different feeling, especially when you're in this age, when you look at the scoreboard and you're ahead for the first time. Little shot of adrenaline this inning, it seemed, for Eric Rodriguez. Back-to-back strikeouts, that time in an elevated fastball. Stayed away and then climbed the ladder when he got to a 2-strike count.
That is a look of determination. Kill Kim, another pinch hitter for South Korea with 2 outs and nobody on. Hitting his spot perfectly.
Can't do that.
We will be seeing that a lot this week.
We'll be seeing it up here.
We won't. No.
No.
Yeah, you ever want to feel uncoordinated as a grown man? Try that for the first time.
Eduardo Perez is watching right now. He's standing up wherever he is and he's trying it because he wouldn't stop doing it in the booth when we were in Omaha.
Every ballpark you go to now, every dance cam, every kids cam, every kid in every park now stands up when the camera's on and tries to do that. Just outside, 3-1. Well, South Korea needs a base runner. They're down 2-0. And they're down to their final 4 outs in this game. Kim, we'll see if he's taking. Takes a strike. Full count. Can't be taking now. If it's close, got to swing. It was not close. Well, it was pretty close. But ball 4. That's a walk.
And big there for a few reasons. I mean, if you're South Korea, you just need base runners. But the other thing is you want to look at that pitch count because it continues to go up there. Eric Rodriguez has been that good today. 4 2/3, has not given up a hit. 3-2 fastball, tails out of the zone. So even if South Korea can't push any runs across in this inning, at least they force that pitch count up a little bit higher. Remember, 85 pitches the max. You can go over it during the course of an at bat, but if you do, that'd be the last one.
So after the walk, a pinch runner, Oh Yun-Yom, will go to first base. The bread man comes to the plate.
Plate. Off.
We asked John what he wanted to take away from Williamsport, the Little League World Series experience. Quote, "I want victory in this tournament."
End quote. Straightforward.
He's a serious kid. He had a big cut there.
There you go.
Right off the top of the fence, 1-2. Heads up.
One and two. One ball.
As Kyle said, that pitch count number 82. Very important to watch that. Another foul ball.
Thank you.
So what if he does not get the hitter on this pitch right
then
here?
This would be the last hit.
Then this is his final hitter of the day.
If he gets him here, then he can come out and face one to start the sixth.
Did he get him? Yes, he did. Out number 3 and strikeout number 8. What a game it's been for Eric Rodriguez. Still hasn't given up a hit. He and Puerto Rico have a 2-0 lead.
The Little League World Series on ESPN is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, proud supporter of Little League in all youth sports, and in part by the Honda Odyssey, official vehicle of Little League since 1996.
So much cool stuff here at Williamsport, not just the games, but so many things for fans to do in the ballpark, out of the ballpark. The fans from Guayama, Puerto Rico are just having a blast here today. Why not? Their kids have a 2-0 lead, game 1 of this 2018 Little League World Series. We begin on the international side, so critical if you have championship aspirations to win that first game. It's been 18 years since a team lost its first game and still went on to win this Little League World Series. Not impossible, but if you win game 1, that is a huge first step. Puerto Rico is 3 outs away from doing it. Their fans are doing the wave down below us. They would take any extra runs that they could get.
Play.
Rodriguez takes a strike. Pitch number 76 for Young-Yo Kim.
Ball. Did he go?
Yes, he did. So says Colin Campbell, our first base umpire.
Strikes.
Strike 3. Well, right after we are done, coming up next, up the hill at Lomity, Des Moines, Iowa, Staten Island, New York, 2 good teams on the U.S. side. Not a whole lot of tension or nerves, it doesn't appear. Getting ready for their first Little League World Series experience.
Well, it ought to be.
Ball.
John Lopez, the catcher. I love the coaches who help foster that, because I do think the nervousness can be the enemy of these kids in these big stadiums on a big stage. They know folks are watching on TV.
Ball.
And to me, the teams that stay loose and look like they're having fun have a big advantage.
Well, think about it, especially at this age. I mean, if you're loose and you feel like you're playing a game just like you would be in the backyard, your mind's in the same place. Yeah, I'm with you.
On the ground, past the diving attempt of Kim, the third baseman. And John Lopez has his first hit in Williamsport. If Puerto Rico goes a long way, he's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, I feel like he really is. There's some kids who just look a little bit different when they're out there. John Lopez is absolutely that. Fastball up in the zone. Puts that one in play. Third hit of the ball game for Puerto Rico. All have come in the last 2 innings.
And in case you're just joining us, the South Korean team, it's different kids this year, of course, but it's a Little League from Seoul, South Korea, even a new South Seoul Little League. that comes to Williamsport expecting to hit and put runs on the board. And they have not only not scored a run, they have not had a hit today against Eric Rodriguez and Puerto Rico. Carlos De Jesus. It's 0-2. Maybe looking back on it, the play of the game. I mean, there were a few candidates, but Carlos struck out in the 4th inning, but reached base with his speed after the ball got by the catcher. That's what started the 2-run rally.
Well, and that a big pitch right there too, because barring a double play right here, this will be the last pitch or last batter that Young Kim will face today. He has struck out 13 on the mound for South Korea.
Comebacker. Can they turn 2? That's 1. That's all they'll get. So the force out at second. 2 down. And it was a heck of a day for young Yo Kim, who pitched so well. You think he doesn't know? He's already halfway off the field. He walked off. We will have a new pitcher. So South Korea makes the pitching change. They're forced to do it. We'll come back with the new pitcher right after this. Scenes of Williamsport, game 1.
Yes.
Let me get a hold of that. 2-0 Puerto Rico here in the bottom of the 5th. Some changes for South Korea. The pitch limit forces Young Kim over to first base. So he went 4 2/3 innings, struck out 13, gave up only 3 hits, but the 2 runs. Puerto Rico found a way to get 2 runs across against him. And Ji Young Choi comes from center field to the mound. The first baseman has gone from first to, well, right field. Now we have some other maneuvering out in the outfield, but the main thing is Ji Young Choi, 12 years old, has taken over as the pitcher, trying to get the final out here in the bottom of the 5th and give South Korea a chance in their final at bat to rally and tie or take the lead. Excitement building over there. They are tasting victory already, but still got 3 outs to get. Little League Grow the Game Grant Initiative has distributed over $2 million at the local level. Grant funding provides local Little Leagues resources for general improvement to expand or establish softball challenger division, urban initiative programs. For more info, visit littleleague.org/growthegame. That's what we're doing here, not just in Williamsport, but all throughout Little League baseball across the world. Very spirited game here. And now Choi, the new pitcher, his first pitch of the day to Victor Cartagena. Strike 1, 71 miles an hour right out of the chute. Victor, the shortstop, 0 for 1. It was interesting, in the midst of the rally that scored the 2 runs, the coaches for Puerto Rico did a lot of maneuvering, and it all worked. The pinch hitter for this guy, I mean, they used a pinch hitter for their cleanup hitter, Leonel Gomez, who got the good bunt down that built the rally. The special pinch runner was huge. The coaching aggressively at third base was huge. On the ground, it'll kick foul.
Think how close all 3 of those plays were.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball that's bunted back to the mound, the play at second base is bang bang. Then later on in the inning, the ground ball to the right side is bang bang at first, and the first run that Puerto Rico scored is the exact same at home plate. I mean, 3 plays that ultimately could have, really to the naked eye, could have gone either way.
And all executed without mistakes. There were no bobbles. It was clean baseball, just that close.
There's no errors. There's no errors in a ball game. About as clean as you'll see.
That is pretty rare, even as talented as all these kids are. Runner goes, the throw, tag, just late. A steal.
See that very often, but a pretty good time to take a chance too. 2 outs, 2 strikes. You already have the lead, ball down in the zone, so it's not easy for the catcher, Ji-Jong Kim, to make this throw out to second base.
Remember, South Korea has used up their challenges, so even if they thought they wanted to challenge that, even if they thought the call was incorrect, they have no challenges remaining. At least in the first 6 innings. 2-2. Runner in scoring position. In the dirt.
It's pretty good work to block that breaking ball right there, because the spin on a curveball when it gets into the dirt is so different than a fastball. But watch Ji-Jong Kim, the catcher, get and round his body around it right at the last minute. He's trying to turn that top half of the body towards home plate. So if the ball hits the chest protector, it stays right there. That is how you block it. Now try to catch it. Just let it hit that chest protector and die right in front of you.
3-2. Strike 3 called. Oh, the last chance for South Seoul Little League. Puerto Rico 3 outs away from an opening round win. It's 2-0.
Volunteers Stadium, Puerto Rico leading 2-0, a lot because of the work of Eric Rodriguez today. 8 strikeouts for the right-hander, who seems like really has gotten better as this game gone on. Struck out 3 in the 5th inning, sandwiched around a walk. Fastball command's been great all day. He's used a breaking ball a few times when he's needed to, but really has lived on the outside part of the plate. 84 pitches for the ball game, so the next hitter will be the last hitter of the game for Eric Rodriguez, who has yet to allow a hit. Struck out 8.
Really impressive performance by him against a team that we know can hit.
Yeah.
And a little pep talk before the 6th inning. South Korea down to their final 3 outs. Puerto Rico 3 outs away from an inspirational win. You think about what those kids have gone through in the past year. To get here to Williamsport in and of itself, a tremendous accomplishment. But now against one of the powerhouse Little Leagues year in and year out. A chance for an opening round victory.
Ball.
Ball 1 to Jae-Yo Lee, the second baseman, trying to get a rally started. That one popped up. It's going to kick foul. John Lopez came out of the crouch in a hurry, trying to get to it before it landed.
And I like the reaction too. When he realized he couldn't get to it, knew the spin was going to take that thing foul right away, then waited until it ended up going foul. If he would have had a chance, I can promise you he would have laid out, try to make that play right there. But instead knew he couldn't get there, knowing the spin would take it foul.
1-1.
Ball.
He does move behind the plate. Think about the great catching tradition. So much great baseball from Puerto Rico over the years, but the Molina family alone. Bunted. Rodriguez makes the play calmly. So his final hitter of the day, he has a part in throwing out Jae-Yo Lee, out number 1.
Talk about the strikeouts of Eric Rodriguez, but this is fielding your position and get yourself a win. Watch him come off and stick that right foot in the grass and then not even move. Knows he doesn't have a lot of time. The base pass is just 60 feet. So even if a guy gets a bunt down and it goes right back to the mound, if the hitter has speed, in this case like Lee does, you don't have a lot of time. Well done by Eric Rodriguez. 5 1/3. The pitch count will take him out of this ball game, but he has done everything you could ask for a kid on this stage. Did not allow a hit, struck out 8. Gives way right here. Puerto Rico a 2-0 lead, 2 outs away from a Game 1 win.
Puerto Rico 2 outs away, and they have to make the pitching change. As good as Eric Rodriguez was, the pitch count limit got him, and so now Roberto Jobert, 12 years old, comes in.
Who's already changed his game with his feet. Came on as a special pinch runner, scored the first run of the game for Puerto Rico. Now will come on and try to get the final 2 outs and give Puerto Rico a Game 1 win.
Isn't that kind of cool how a kid who did not start the game has had such an impact?
Yeah.
Ball.
And he's got some velocity in that right arm. Close, but called a ball. Ji-Jong Kim, the final hitter that needed to have an at-bat for South Korea, taking his first at bat here. 1-1.
1-1.
They need at least one base runner to get the tying run to home plate here in the final inning, the top of the 6th.
Oh.
2-2. That's the equivalent of a 94-mile-an-hour Major League fastball. He stays alive.
Just a piece. Pretty straightforward here, and I like it. I mean, just grab that fastball and let it go for Gilbert, who's been into the low 70s already.
No.
Just missed. A base runner any way that South Korea could get it would be huge. Gilbert knows he needs to throw a strike here. 3-2.
Oh.
He missed. That's ball 4. So that's a rally for South Korea. They will get the tying run to home plate. After the football game tonight, Sports Center, Kenny Mayne and John Buccigross, those guys are probably already getting ready for it. 11 Eastern or thereabouts. Debuts for Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Sam Darnold, who is creating a lot of buzz. So lots of football talk, a little college hoops as well. Duke All Access with their great freshman class. Plus, Little League World Series, I'm sure, will be featured tonight. Sports Center after football. Big night right here on ESPN. So a pinch runner, Young Park, comes back in. It was his spot. Kim got the walk. Park in to run. 1 out. Gilbert trying to finish this off for Puerto Rico. And that one fouled right back above us. Pretty good cut from Ji Young Choi, who's got some power. He could tie the game with one swing.
Oh.
1-1. Power against power matchup here.
And you got to be thinking that right here. I mean, with a fastball that's coming in this hard, you get the middle of the lineup for South Korea. There's nothing wrong with thinking 2 runs with 1 swing right now.
Get that barrel of the bat out there. See what happens. Foul ball. That one got right in on his hands.
Saw it again right there. Gilbert hadn't been in this ball game too long. Walked the first hitter he saw, but still 1-1 fastball. And John Lopez is sitting on the inside black. Ball's going to move that way anyway, the way it comes out of Gilbert's hands, but it's not an easy pitch to execute, especially given the situation right here. Now he'll move away.
So see if he can hit the target. 1-2. On the ground hard and off the glove. Into shallow left field. Nobody at third. The backup by the shortstop to go pick up that baseball. But here we go. South Korea's best rally of the game, down to their final 3 outs. They've got 2 on.
Final 3 outs and what should be the first hit of the ball game right here. Fastball that Ji Young Choi puts a good swing on. That's a tough play for Rivera to get to, and even if he does, you have no chance at a double play, but still it's not an easy play at first. So South Korea 1 out walk, and now their first hit of the ball game with something going here in the 6th.
And the big guy, the cleanup hitter, Ji Jong Kim, the catcher, comes up in a spot where now 1 swing could put South Korea ahead. The big fastball for strike 1. Drama on the international side right away. This is game 1 of this 2018 Little League World Series. Eric Rodriguez so good on the mound for Puerto Rico, but the pitch limit rule had to come out with 1 out here in the 6th. And it's just a walk and a little ground ball hit, but it's a rally for South Korea against Roberto Gilbert, who's throwing hard. 0-2. Pretty aggressive swing.
Thank you. Two strikes. Play.
Ball.
Didn't miss by much. Takes nerve to take that pitch. That one missed high, so it's 2-2. This kid on the mound's got a great arm, but sometimes just seeing something different after you face a guy who pitched so well.
Yes, without a doubt.
2-2. Lined into left. Now that's a hit. And they're going to send the runner around. The throw will get cut off, and that's the first run. Now the ball gets away. And a scramble for third. The tying run 60 feet away. It's a one-run game with still only one out.
Good fastball, a good swing to start it right here. Ji-Young Kim drives in the first run of the ball game. It's done perfectly to hit the cutoff man right there, but that throw right there is the one you'd like to have back if you're Puerto Rico, because you accomplished everything you wanted to. You kept the base runners at first and second. The force is still in play right there, and the game just sped up a little bit for a minute. But 2 straight hits for South Korea. They get their first run across right here and pull within 1 here with just 1 out.
And that means a wild pitch, a bobble on the infield, even just a ground out could tie the game. So that extra 60 feet on the throw that got away at second is huge. Now Kim, who came up with the big hit that has changed this 6th inning, lifted for a pinch runner. The last 17 champions in Williamsport began with a win. So how big is this? Very big. And both teams know that. Roberto Gilbert, I mean, he was throwing hard, and I thought throwing pretty well, but he will come out. Couldn't get those final outs. So now a new pitcher for Puerto Rico, and this is where the pressure, I don't know if that's the right word, but in this sport, Kyle, you can't take a knee. You can't run out the clock. You got to get those final outs.
Yeah, and sometimes those final outs can seem like the toughest outs right here. And for Puerto Rico, where everything was going right on the mound, it really has been good right here. 2 good swings for the kids from South Korea at this point. But besides that, it's been incredibly well pitched. And defensively, yeah, throw an error right there. But that's the first error of the ball game. We're in the 6th inning. It's been clean. It's been really good baseball. And obviously it's come down right to the end. And for Puerto Rico, they'll go to a different arm here to try to close things out. Leonel Gomez, who we saw come up with a big offensive play already when he got the bunt down, forced the South Korean defense to play catch right there. Now we'll come on and try to get the final 2 outs of this ball game.
Leonel Gomez takes over trying to get those final 2 outs. Let's go back down to Sebastian.
So guys, it turns out Leonel was born to play baseball. I was talking to his mom, Marisol. She said even from a young age, he'd pull branches off of trees, use them as bats. He'd ball up socks, play with rocks to use it as a ball. Anything that he could do to get practice and play with his brothers and sisters. His mom called him un adicto total, a total addict to baseball.
Let's see if all that work, all those days in the backyard pay off here. What an opportunity. Gomez, who was a big part of the 2-run rally that put Puerto Rico ahead. Now it's a 1-run lead and the tying run at third. Still only 1 out. Chuhu Choi is the hitter. The runner takes off from first. Now a break for home, and that's a double steal that ties the game. 2-2. They wanted to draw the throw. And Lopez made the throw, even though it got cut off in front of second, and the return came back quickly. That's how South Korea ties it.
And you can see the base runner, too, and it's timed up perfectly. So it's a big arbino play by John Lopez. Eric Rodriguez, the shortstop, was trying to cut that off, get out on a grass throw to get to that. But ultimately, Ji-Young Choi, who's standing at third base, just played it perfectly. Took his secondary lead, was reading the throw, and the minute he saw that ball was going to second base, he was off and running. And South Korea has tied it.
It was great timing.
Ball, no strikes, play.
So from down 2-0 And down to their final 2 outs, a 2-run rally to tie it up. Now can South Korea go ahead? That one hits him. Tried a breaking ball and it hit him. 4 straight have reached base safely. South Korea hardly had a base runner in the first 5 innings. And so it goes for Puerto Rico. Now just trying to keep the game tied. Kim, now the first baseman, the guy who started on the mound and pitched most of the game, pitched very well.
Play.
2 on, 1 out. That one to right center. Rivera lining it up to make the catch, the tag, and now the throw cut off. Are they going to get the out at second? The tag, no. Safe at second. Puerto Rico thinks that they got the out. You can't take your eye off the field, though. I know these kids, they want to argue and say, let's look at it. We need to review that one. I think I got him, but the ball is still alive. At least it was.
And a pretty heads-up play, too, by Eric Rodriguez, the shortstop. And the throw goes in, he hits a cutoff man, and you can see, ideally, your second baseman, you want to stand a little bit closer to second base. Rodriguez doesn't have to run and try to make this tag. It looked like the right foot got to the edge of the base before the tag was there. But if you're Puerto Rico, I don't know why you don't take a chance right here.
You have challenges remaining.
You've got 2 left. So even if you're wrong, you've still got 1 left for the balance of the game. It doesn't look like we'll get it. It looked like the call on the field was right. So South Korea now 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 outs.
Pretty daring base running on both sides.
Close the door. Close the door. There you go.
Got to get the gate closed on that side.
2-2.
We're trying to communicate what we're doing here. Step off, or we want an appeal. I think now the South Korea coaches are upset. Somebody on the Puerto Rican side thought that one of those runners who tagged left early.
Play. Play.
Well, if you want the appeal, you got to throw it over there and see. You check with the umpires, but you don't throw it to that base.
You got to throw it to second
because nobody was there. So if you want an appeal, and you got to do this before you throw a pitch. Now the South Korean coaches are wondering what's going on. He thought it was a balk. If you're arguing a balk, that's how South Korea would like to go ahead in this game. Well, and this is where, okay, I get it. The coaches on the Puerto Rican side want their kid to execute an appeal play, but you better be careful and not ask too much of a young kid in a pressure moment and force a mistake. Now, the umpires are going to talk here after that argument, and I guess our home plate umpire, Troy Lair, is going to ask, was there a balk committed?
Flem, you were on it. I mean, ultimately, I think they were trying to appeal at second base. The reality is you see a lot of people at any level not really understand how to do an appeal. Kids at this age, I think it's realistic that you don't. They probably never had to do it or been asked to do it.
All right, so the umpires talked it over, and nobody saw a balk. We certainly don't want that to be the way this game is decided. Well, he stepped off. Well.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I thought he did fine. Okay, again, if you're going to appeal, you're appealing that the runner left early. So whatever base you think that happened, that's where you make the appeal play.
Because ultimately, it's still a force at that base. You tag the base, base runner doesn't go back and tag up, tag the base are automatically out. That seemed to be what he was trying to do there.
But the runner originated at second, not at third. So that's where the whole thing has got confused. And catch. I don't think he left early.
I don't either. No, I think he timed it up about as well as you possibly can. Split screen's a great way to see that. It's a ball in the glove on the right, foot still on the bag on the left.
Great job, I think.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Yeah, and then the throw that got through to the shortstop deep enough allowed the base runner from first to advance on to second. We got a lot of discussion here, but I think we're going to have everything as it stands on the base pass.
Jae Woo Myung. I mean, you can't review a balk. And I thought that the tag timing play was also not a reviewable play.
So you can see home plate umpire Troy Lair right there said no review, no review. Everything stays the same. So runner second, third, 2 out right here, tie ball game.
All right, back to baseball now. What are we doing? We're having a visit to the mound now. Well, think about how this game has changed. We'll listen in. It was 2-0 Puerto Rico with 1 out and nobody on here in the 6th inning.
No le vamos a dar nada en medio. La primera está vacía. Bien. Curvita para allá, para allá, para allá, para allá. Vamos. Regalamos el empate nosotros. El tipo estaba a mitad de tercera. Vamos. Para que se lo metan en la mente. Estaba en mitad de tercera.
I think most of that message was, look, this game is still tied. Right. This game is not over.
Sometimes the emotion of everything that's going on, you forget about that. I mean, you come into it, you're 2 outs away from getting out of it and winning the ball game, but get yourself in the dugout, 1 hit, you can still win this thing.
I also love when your coach says, all right, we got to find the strike zone, but nothing in the middle.
So now go get him.
Lee, the hitter. 2 on, 2 out. Got to find the strike zone, just not over the plate. Now out over the middle.
What?
Maybe South Korea has just decided that as the pressure is ratcheted up here in this 6th inning, they can force a mistake from somebody.
They were trying to right there. Choo-Hoo Choi is a base runner on second base, and he was about halfway to third, just trying to draw that throw.
That one, a little looping liner, caught it short. So South Korea stays alive, but they do not take the lead. Puerto Rico a chance to win it in the bottom of the 6th. Here in Williamsport to start this 2018 Little League World Series. It was 2-0. Puerto Rico with a lead and 2 outs away from a win. South Korea, though, rallied.
Ji-Jong Kim with a single to left. That would score the first. And then a double steal, kind of a Little League special. First and third, trying to take second base, draw the throw. They got the throw. Ji-Hung Choi, the base runner at third base, would come in to score and tie this ball game. First 5 innings for South Korea. No hits, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, a couple of hits in the 6th. That's the difference in why we play on.
Grinding out just enough at bats against Eric Rodriguez to ensure that he could not finish the game on the mound, and that proved to be a big difference. So now the goal for the kids from Seoul, South Korea will be to survive to see extra innings. Puerto Rico has a chance as the home team to score a run and forget about the top of the 6th and walk off with a win. We'll see if they can do it against the second pitcher of the game, Ji-Hung Choi, who came on to get the final out in the 5th. By the way, after we are done here on ESPN, we'll get you up the hill. They are underway at Alameda, New York, with the first run on the U.S. side in this Little League World Series. They lead Des Moines, Iowa, 1-0. That game is currently on ESPNU in the 2nd inning. As soon as we're done, we'll get to see New York and Iowa. Staten Island and Des Moines.
Very similar. Think of the two.
Yeah, Staten Island's kind of like the Des Moines of New York City. Not really. A great group of kids on both sides. Yeah. So here we go, bottom 6. Devin Ortiz trying to get a rally started for Puerto Rico. 0-for-2 in this game, Ortiz. First at bat against Choi. He's a big kid on the mound. 1-1.
1-1.
Off the end of the bat, stays alive.
Got a little piece right there.
Player in the big leagues he would most like to meet, Jose Altuve, who to him, he told us, shows that no matter what your size, you can succeed in this game. Devin's not the biggest kid. Pops it up, and with the sunshine all of a sudden a factor again. Pitcher Choi made the catch on the pop-up. In big league baseball, you don't see a lot of pitchers catch pop-ups. Why is that?
Because everybody else is selfish.
So says the former big league starting pitcher.
Let the athletes be athletes. Let the guy in the mound make the play.
Eric Rodriguez, what a day it's been for him. RBI single, a walk, plus all the great pitching. Can he be a hero with the bat in his hand? In a tie game, bottom 6. That one bounced in front of home plate. The game certainly changed when he left the mound.
Yeah, it did. And you had said it too when it came out. I think it's so true. Sometimes it doesn't matter who comes in next. It's just that someone else is in there. You just want to see a different face.
And I even think it at the big league level sometimes, even if it's a guy with monster stuff out of the bullpen, if you're having no success against the guy who started the game, anybody, give me anybody else.
Yes, just have a different number out there, and we'll take our chances.
1 ball, 1 strike. Play.
That's a pretty good swing. Yeah, me too. This would be a dramatic spot for our first home run in Williamsport this year.
2. Play.
The 1-2 to Eric Rodriguez. And another good cut.
Thank you. One ball, 2 strikes. Play.
Got it. 2 down.
We were fastball away, fastball away, fastball away, and then slow him down with that breaking ball that's just in a spot that nobody can really handle. Curveball down and out of the zone. It sped up the bat of Eric Rodriguez, and Ji-Hyung Choi right there strikes him out with that breaking ball.
Well,
There he is.
Luis D. Rivera. They call him Big Papi on this team for Puerto Rico. He came up in a huge spot in the 4th inning and had the hardest hit ball of the game, I think. Knocked in a run with a base hit. Definitely has the power to end it with one swing.
Oh.
1-0. Young Luis, whose mom was so excited. It is just the reality of this. It is a little quieter over there on that side. So close, and now having to fight for a victory in game 1.
Oh.
2-0. Well, look, everybody watched that at bat and saw how hard Luis Rivera hit it his first time up. be hard to blame Ji Young Choi, who's on the mound, for being a little extra careful to this guy. Even just the presence in the batter's box.
Yeah, that's not a small 12-year-old right there. That looks a little imposing standing 46 feet away.
3-0. When you know that 225 feet away, the game could be over.
Light is green right here.
Big time
for the big boy.
I would think so.
Rio. Here we go.
Got the call right on the corner. Hey, even if you get the green light, so to speak, even if your coach says, okay, 3-0, swing away, that would not be the pitch. Yeah.
That's a great take.
Really
yeah, I mean, you're looking for something middle in that you can drive out of the ballpark and win the game 3-2. On the outside black at the knees isn't exactly the one you're looking for.
Might have chased there, 3-2. From 3-0 to 3-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th, a tie game. Puerto Rico, South Korea. He got him with the breaking ball. The throw to first for the putout, and we are going to go to extra innings. South Korea come from behind and ties the game. On to the 7th we go, 2-2. These kids on the international side have come from a long way away. Better than 34,000 total miles traveled for the 8 teams from around the world to make it to Williamsport, and happily traveled those distances from Australia, from Japan, from South Korea, from Puerto Rico. And on the international side, later this afternoon, Australia, Mexico. Tomorrow, Spain, which has not been in Williamsport in, what, 3 decades?
Yeah, 1986.
A traditional power, Japan. Panama, Canada will be the final game on the international side tomorrow. So by the end of the day tomorrow, every team here in Williamsport will have played their first game. So important to win that first one, too. We've talked about it a bunch here in this one with the drama as we go to extra innings. The last 17 Little League World Series champions have won their first game. You're not eliminated. It's a modified double elimination tournament, so it's not like your tournament is over, but it makes it tougher. A bunt to start the inning, and a really good one. Even the strong arm, yeah, he got him. John Lopez, what a play.
Play the game, man. Play the game. Nice play, man, is right. You got one chance right here if you're the catcher, and John Lopez may have the best arm in the entire field. So you got to spin your back to the pitcher's mound, barehanded, stick your cleat in the grass, and throw a strike, because if you don't field this ball cleanly at all, if you have to double clutch or do anything else, the speed of Taehyun Kim's going to be enough to beat that one out. That's a big time play by the catcher for the first out of the inning.
Wow, that's just textbook. That would have been the go-ahead run. Now a little pop-up. Can he get to it? Lopez tried, just couldn't quite get there. We watched, and you worked with him yesterday doing some of the building block stuff. We watched them take infield as a team. You see the effort from John Lopez and his throws just in infield practice, just getting ready for the game. Some of his teammates had a hard time handling those throws out at second and third.
It's a different kind of arm.
There's a reason they call him the machine. On the ground to first. The pitcher did not get over to cover Gomez, but De Jesus took care of it himself. 2 down. Quick outs here in the top of the 7th.
Carlos De Jesus made a few real good plays over at first base. We saw him go back and make a play in shallow right field early that time. It was a late break on the mound by Leonel Gomez. He wasn't going to get there in time. Your first baseman has to make that play, and if he hesitates at all and looks up intending to make a flip, probably doesn't get there in time.
One thing, it's a point that you make every year that we're here. That pitch misses high, and it's worth emphasizing. The bases are 60 feet apart. I mean, these kids are fast at age 12, and there is no margin for error. You make a little mistake, a little bobble, a hesitation, and it puts so much pressure on the defense. 2-0 the count. Lee pulled it foul. 2-1. Puerto Rico, in case you're wondering, will have the 8, 9, 1 spots due up in the bottom of the 7th. Same exact spot in the batting order for South Korea here in the top half. This is extra innings. Game 1 of this Little League World Series. Puerto Rico had a 2-0 lead in the 6th with 1 out and nobody on. They were 2 outs away from a victory, and South Korea figured out a way. That's ball 4. Well, that puts the go-ahead run at first base. We have seen how ultra aggressive South Korea has been running both teams, and it's the way to do it, really, I think, here in Little League. Be aggressive on the bases.
You can, but you also got to remember who's behind home plate right now, and you better make sure that ball gets far enough away from John Lopez if you're going to take a chance, because that's a different kind of arm.
Well, Kyle just said it a moment ago. Maybe the strongest throwing arm of any player here in Williamsport.
I think it's going to be hard to find one better.
A good block on top of it.
Sorry.
I mean, really, you watch his technique behind home plate. It's not just the physical tools, it's also the way he goes about it.
Here's the other thing. It's hard to convince a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old to block a baseball, because it hurts sometimes. If it doesn't hit you in the chest protector, get you in the eye, that's not fun. And so it's rare that you get kids at this age that are so committed to that position. You're getting foul tips. I mean, you're getting dinged up. That's the nature of standing behind home plate, regardless how much gear you have on. And it's always fun to see kids at this age that really relish catching. And that's exactly what John Lopez does.
2-2. A liner to right. It'll be caught. Rivera makes the catch. Puerto Rico another chance where a run can end it. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 2-2. Well, if this game sets the tone for the 2018 Little League World Series, there is going to be drama from start to finish, because we have had it on the international side. This was a scoreless game into the 4th. Puerto Rico found a way to get 2 runs across. Very aggressive baseball, good little ball. South Korea down to their final 2 outs, being shut out, and no hit into the final inning. Rallied for 2 runs to tie it, and here we are in the bottom of the 7th. The 8, 9, 1 spots coming up for Puerto Rico. Mixing and matching gear. Yadiel Delgado will try to get a rally started for Puerto Rico against Choi, still on the mound for South Korea. Dave Fleming, Kyle Peterson, Sebastian Salazar on the ground to third. Gotta hurry. Got him. Tae-Yoon Kim, nice play, and with some help at first by Yoon Kim. Good play on both ends.
It is. You got to come get this one. And we talked about those base paths. You got to get it out of the glove, but over at first base, not easy. You got to stretch that ball. It's not in the dirt, but you got to go down, all the way down and get it. Young Kim does that. It's a quick first out here in the 7th inning.
We talked earlier about Tae-Yoon Kim, the third baseman who just made that play. The pride he takes in his defense, to him, he says it's more important than his offense, and he wants to be the best defensive player on this team. He got him by plenty. Another bunt. This time it's the pitcher. Another out. And another good play by Choi.
Two pitches, 2 outs. Angel Vasquez squares early, gets it down, but look at that bare hand play right there, and that's the key. If he goes to the glove and has to make the transfer right there, I don't think there's enough time to get Vasquez at first base. But barehanded, it went down with his bare hand and his glove, but barehanded it, did not get into the glove. Strong throw to first.
So 2 outs. Up comes Luis Diaz. We've had some little ball here in the bottom of the 7th, and it hasn't worked so far. One sort of swinging bunt, one actual bunt. Yadier Molina is a baseball hero to so many of these kids. Maybe in the last couple of years, starting to pass the torch in terms of at the top of that list of current big leaguers from Puerto Rico, which has produced so many great players over the years. Javi Baez is so popular with all these kids, not just the Puerto Rican kids, but everybody here. We hear Javi Baez's name a lot. One and 2. South Korea trying to get this game to the 8th inning. 1-2 to Diaz.
Thank you.
It's good thinking. You can probably get a nap in the middle of this one. Maybe wake up and see the end.
1 and 2.
It's advanced baseball knowledge at a young age right there.
And we don't know when this game will end. It's not ending in the 7th. We're going to the 8th. Extra innings here in Williamsport. 2-2.
Real life is always passing by, but moments can be captured on film. Freezing time, allowing our minds to wander back, remember, and marvel at the magic of this event, which remains as powerful today as it was back in the day. And the backdrop is baseball.
Well, from Williamsport, and that is up at Labadee as we roll on here on the international side. The first game of this Little League World Series on the U.S. side, 1-0 New York, top 3. Dave Fleming, Kyle Peterson here at Volunteer down below with Puerto Rico and South Korea. We'll keep you posted on that one. That's on ESPNU. If you want to catch the U.S. kids, we will send you off to that game when we are finished, whenever that is. 2-2 the score. We go to the 8th inning. These are 6-inning games, but our second extra inning begins here. Ji-Young Choi.
Feels like a big one right here for South Korea too, because you get the middle of this lineup coming up.
Big cut. Strike 1. And sometimes we see this early when teams line up their best pitcher fully rested day 1, but pitching on the U.S. side and here on this side dominating. First 2 games.
1-1.
Took some creativity on both sides to get even the runs we have on the board in this one.
First hit of the ball game was the bottom of the 4th inning.
Ball.
2-1 to a hitter who's got a lot of power.
2-1.
Troy got the first hit after the walk had started the rally in the 6th. He got the first hit. 2-2. You can see him trying to buy him some mechanics. I think he's thinking one thing.
3-2.
Yeah.
2-2. Play.
That one to right center, but not quite enough. Caught right near the warning track by Luis Diaz. One away.
just enough on the end of the bat right there. Breaking ball that Ji-Hyung Choi got out in front of, and a good job by Leonel Gomez, who since coming in has thrown a lot of those, just trying to keep this South Korean offense off balance, and did just enough right there for a ball that came off the bat. Thought maybe that had a chance to go out. Luis Diaz, the center fielder, back then in just in front of the track for the first out.
Well, we haven't had a home run yet in this Little League World Series, in this game or the game at Lamadi that's going on right now. Ji-Hyung Kim, he had a huge hit to knock in a run, the first run of the day for South Korea in that 6th inning. And he's ahead 2-0 now. The international kids getting geared up for the 2nd game of the day from Volunteer. Now those are the kids from Queensland, Australia. First time a Little League from Queensland has sent a team to Williamsport. Baseball is exploding in Australia. You and I, we have been here every year that Australia has had a team in Williamsport, and we've seen the level of play just get better and better.
It absolutely has. 2 wins in the Little League World Series just a few years ago. Australia will open up with Mexico later on tonight.
Mexico almost always has a highly competitive team.
Nice catch.
They're taking some cuts. So we will see those 2 teams at a base hit. No launch angle, but he hit it hard. Just a low liner.
Second straight hit of the game for Ji-Hyung Kim, the catcher for South Korea. Breaking ball that leaks over the inside part of the plate. There's plenty of power. We're playing no doubles over at third base. You can be playing wherever you want right there, and that ball's going to get into left. 3rd hit of the ball game for South Korea, and we got a base runner on in the 8th.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe they already used a special pinch runner for him earlier in the game.
Which means they cannot do it again. Yeah.
Probably not the kid on this South Korean team who's going to make a dash for second, try to steal a base.
Saw him make a good play on a foul ball back by home plate.
He can move his feet a little bit.
Yeah.
Pretty aggressive first swing from Shuhu Choi. And you said it, this is the middle of the order.
1 strike play.
A ball off the bat that was caught at the warning track in center field for the first out. Now a hard hit base hit. But a good pitch from Leonel Gomez. It's 0-2.
Con.
Well, time. We don't listen in when the managers go to talk to an umpire about something.
I'm not sure what this one would be here.
So some sort of clarification right in the middle of the at bat.
One ball, 2 strikes.
1-2.
Play. Ball.
Right into the gap in right center field. And the catcher Kim on the move to third. The throw's going to come back in to the mound. Kim, the runner at first, stops at third. Second and third with 1 out after the double from Shuhu Choi.
It's a pretty good job of hitting right here. And you know you're probably going to get breaking balls. That's what we've seen for the most part since Lionel Gomez has come into the ball game. Ball into right center field. Pick him up and put him down. Ji-Jong Kim first to third. Yes, Flammy can run.
I tell you what, he was rumbling.
Tell you what he didn't like? That stop sign. He didn't like that stop. Yeah, man. Train was rolling right there.
But I love it. Put yourself in a position. If you get the go sign, you're ready to go.
Amen.
So his hit started the rally. Now a pitching change. Lionel Gomez did a good job. Came on in the 6th inning. Got them through the 6th. Got them through the 7th. Here in the 8th, in some trouble. So another new pitcher coming in for Puerto Rico. Cartagena, the shortstop, is going to come to the mound. Gomez, in case you're wondering, would be eligible to pitch again on Sunday. Now, this is just the first game on the international side. But what do we have in store later this afternoon? Australia, Mexico. Then tomorrow we begin at 2 Eastern right here on ESPN. Spain and Japan. On paper, looks lopsided. We'll see how it plays out. Spain has not sent a team to the Little League World Series in 30 years. Panama and Canada. Lots of great stories with both of those teams. That'll be the final first round game here in Williamsport on the international side. Tomorrow, 6 Eastern on ESPN. And for us, we have our preconceived ideas about, okay, who are the powerhouse teams, who are the best players. We watch them take infield and work with them a little bit in the few days leading up to round 1. But until you see the games,
You just never know. Our highly scientific method of watching infield and saying, yep, that's one. Well, Victor Cartagena, we saw out at shortstop to start this game, has a big-time arm as well. And we've seen a few of those already in this game. Go-ahead run standing 60 feet away at third base. 5'9", 12 years old. Comes in at a tough spot right here.
Second and third, the infield has to come in. So that puts some extra pressure on the defense. And it means that Kim really is trying to get the ball in play here. High and tight. Got buzzed on the first pitch. Yeah, welcome to the game. Your first ever pitching experience at the Little League World Series with the go-ahead run at third and only 1 out. Kim, who was the starting pitcher, in the dirt. A good block, a break for the plate, the throw, the tag. He is out! Out! Now the coach came in. I mean, the coach, you can't start peeling players off. Get your hands out of there. One of the coaches was starting to separate the players. Cartagena took the throw. His glove was pinned underneath. Kim, the catcher, came barreling in. Did he hang on to the ball? Did he get the tag?
Tag, yes. I think the question is whether or not he held on to the ball, because the tag was absolutely there in time. The call is out at home plate.
I mean, seriously. These teams both get extra challenges in extra innings. He held on to the ball.
He absolutely did. That's a really athletic play by a kid that started the game at shortstop, then went to the mound. John Lopez got over there in time. I think he did hold on to that ball. Clearly he did when he made the tag, and it looked like underneath him, and you lose sight of it because it's underneath the base runner. Ji-Hyung Choi right there. They take a chance on the ball that gets away. Good reaction by Lopez and a really athletic play by Victor Cartagena on the mound to first of all glove it and then turn around and get the tag down in time.
Well, they wanted him to take a look, and out. Disbelief. And John Lopez was pumped. What a play by him again. You can't blame South Korea for trying to score. What's the call? What's the call?
Attaboy. The emotions right there of a 12-year-old. Ball that gets away, which was not an easy play. It's a breaking ball to Dirty. Went backhand, kept it close enough that he can make an athletic play enough to give his pitcher Cartagena enough time to get that tag down. Now 2 outs. You're 1 pitch away from getting back in the dugout.
And it helps maybe that your pitcher is also a shortstop on that play. That was super athletic on both ends. And then hanging on to the ball. Runner at third, 2 outs. And I guess they're going to pitch around Kim. So that's interesting. That's ball 4. The intentional walk. First and third with 2 outs. Now I would be shocked. Now Kim is going to break for second. The runner from third is coming home. The tag out. You test John Lopez, and you're taking a risk. And the rest of this Team Puerto Rico defense.
Yeah, and this is it play when you're at the Little League level. You got to practice because you know what's going to come up in a big time. It's an intentional walk. The base runner's not going to stop when he gets around first base. And now we got action. Get the ball back to the pitcher. He controls everything at this point. Immediately looking at the base runner. Now this throw right here is the difference. Look at Lopez, the catcher. Shorten the distance to third base. Gloves it, gets the tag down. 2 big-time plays and a reaction you would expect from a catcher that has been outstanding.
We are back. The Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. As this game goes on, bottom of the 8th, extra innings on the international side. South Korea rallied for 2 runs in the 6th, down to their final 2 outs, tied the game, and we've had chances on both sides since then, but no runs. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Puerto Rico, maybe the defense in the top half of this inning carries the momentum back to their side. A couple huge plays in the 8th.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a breaking ball down, fastball down and away. That time John Lopez not enough time to get out and block it, but enough time to make the throw to Victor Cartagena, the pitcher. And then this is started on the mound by knowing what the situation is right there. Second baseman shortens the distance to home plate. Lopez, the catcher, shortens the distance on the tag. Strong throw home. Puerto Rico is out of the inning. Victor Cartagena came into the ballgame, threw 4 pitches, all balls, got 2 outs, and Puerto Rico now has a chance to win it with 1 here in the bottom of the 8th.
That's with your defense
game always
helping
makes
you
sense,
out.
doesn't it?
And guess who leads off? Could it be? After the defense of the catcher Lopez, who's just been so impressive. Now the bat in his hand, takes a strike at 71 miles an hour, which, if you're a big leaguer, that's 92 plus. Lopez does have a hit, 1 for 3. In the dirt. That one got our umpire, I think. Ouch. Umpires have been a part of this one and making excellent calls. We've had so many close plays and plays that have been reviewed, and our umpires have been on top of it in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tie game, bottom 8. A run would end it. Maybe a little over anxious there. 1-2. To third. The quick throw. Got him at first. Lopez can run. Tae-Hyun Kim, who wants to be the best defensive player, he's making a pretty good argument, isn't he?
Yes, he is. You talked about it earlier. A kid that said, I take more pride in my defense than anything else. Little hesitation, but not much time. Loves it. Good transfer to the bare hand to make the throw, and just enough to get John Lopez at first base. Didn't get it by much, but absolutely got him.
Another good call. Colin Campbell, first base umpire. So a big first out in a tie game, bottom 8. Can you imagine what the rest of this Little League World Series is going to be like?
If it's anything like this, it's going to work out okay.
This is our first game.
Yeah.
Got the call on the first pitch fastball. Carlos De Jesus, left-handed hitter. He's been a part of the offense and the defense for Puerto Rico. Ji-Young Choi starts his windup. Almost looks like a guy who's got a swing geared for left field, left center field.
Trying to drive that ball in the opposite gap.
Play.
In the dirt, and the throw not made. A strikeout, but De Jesus reaches base safely. And guess how the first rally for Puerto Rico started?
Just like that. Strikeout that went to the backstop. Started the fourth inning, and it was Carlos De Jesus that time and Carlos De Jesus this time. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt. Ji-Jung Kim, the catcher, does a great job of blocking this one, puts it right in front of home plate, but then goes down to barehand and just doesn't get it the first time. De Jesus running from the left side of the box, gets down there in enough time there, so one out and a base runner for Puerto Rico.
That's a good job by Choi, his teammate, to make sure that he stays positive, stays in the game.
Ready? Play.
Victor Cartagena, remember the play he made, taking the throw from his catcher John Lopez to tag out the would-be go-ahead run. On the ground, into left field. 2 on, 1 out. Winning run in scoring position. My goodness. You see the emotion, you see the pressure. You can just get inside the head of Carlos De Jesus. One more. Meanwhile, for South Korea, maybe strategy, maybe more. We're not in a hurry to get to the mound.
No, we're not.
Impromptu clinic at home plate while the mound meeting goes on. It's been 18 years since a champion, the team that ends up a week from Sunday, the ultimate champion of the Little League World Series, started their tournament with a loss. So it's not a must, but the first win is huge. We already had the rally haircuts before coming to Williamsport. Now we got the rally caps on top of the rally haircuts.
Throw the fins up right here.
Devin Ortiz. 0 for 3, has popped out.
Here we go.
Devin's favorite website, YouTube. He gets a hit here, he might be able to watch himself on YouTube for a while.
I think he will be able
live
to.
on.
They pinch in at the corners. The outfield also coming in. You kind of have to, right? And that's the winning run at second base.
Yeah, the only difference here is 1 out. And I think the question would be whether or not you think that a fly ball can get deep enough and over your outfielders' heads. Because obviously it gets over their heads, the ball game's over.
1 ball.
You got to balance that. You don't want that to happen. You also, if a ball gets hit to the outfield, a base hit, you want to have a chance to cut down the winning run. On the ground, off the glove, a flip to third in time. Great poise by Choi to stay with it.
Great poise, and I think that's the only play you have right there. Left-handed hitter. Devin Ortiz is going to get out of the box, and this ball is already moving away from Ji-Young Choi, the pitcher. So backhands it right there, and then the presence of mind to know you got a force play at third base. If it's a tag play, it's a lot tougher. Force play, picks it up, shovels it. Tae-Hyun Kim, the third baseman, plenty of time to pick that ball up before it got to him. That ought to put a smile on your face, because that's just knowing the game. If you spin and try to make the throw to first base, A, it's a lot tougher throw. B, I don't know if there's enough time to get him.
So 2 outs. And Eric Rodriguez, so impressive on the mound. He did not give up a hit in 5 1/3 innings. The only reason he didn't finish the game for Puerto Rico was the pitch limit. Chance to be the hero on offense. Bottom of the 8th. Winning run at second. On the ground, just foul.
Here you go. Pitch. Shot.
I love being aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you think you're going to get a first pitch fastball right here. Shallow in center, shallow in left. Ju Woo Lim, the center fielder, playing way in. Shuhu Choi. About normal depth, maybe in a little bit in left field, but definitely shallow in center and shaded to the pull side.
I mean, that is interesting because you do have a hitter up there who's got a little pop. Strike 2.
Strikes.
Here's the 0-2 in the dirt, and it kicks away. And I think Puerto Rico, they were thinking about it. Carlos De Jesus came to third and came around third, and that's Cartagena, not De Jesus, who got forced out at third. Cartagena came to third. He was thinking about it.
And why not? I mean, at least force a play to be made back behind home plate. If it's not fielded cleanly back there, it's a strong enough turn that you got a chance to throw. Chance to score, excuse me. So Cartagena at third base right now. That the winning run for Puerto Rico. 1-2 count, 2 outs.
Ji-Jung Kim, the catcher, knows another one gets by. Could be the game. 1-2 to Eric Rodriguez. Cartagena is the winning run. He's at third with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. 1-2. Just outside. From 0-2 to 2-2. Got him swinging. And South Korea survives. The winning run was at third. We go on to the 9th inning in a 2-2 game. Well, Seoul, South Korea, one of the biggest cities in the world. They've got incredible facilities, partially because they were a Summer Olympics host. And it's really one of the world's great cities with culture, with food, with fashion, and with sports. And it's a great baseball country. And they have traveled a long way from South Seoul Little League to get here to Williamsport. And it's not just the players, some family members, some other supporters have made it here. And they have a great track record. Teams from South Korea. Back in the 1980s, 2 Little League World Series champions. Then in 2014, Little League World Series champion again. Got to the championship game 2 years later in 2016. Just fell short. Maine Enwell got him in the end. Last year, 1-2. And that's the shortest run for a team from South Korea all time here in Williamsport. These kids were down to their final 2 outs, being shut out in the 6th inning today. They found a way to tie the game. And here we go to the 9th inning. Play on the international side, 2-2. Victor Cartagena, who came on and, as we described it, got 2 outs without throwing a strike. Sounds unusual, right? In the 8th inning. And he still has not thrown a strike. It is unusual.
Sounds unusual, and in fact it is.
South Korea tried to score on a would-be wild pitch. And a great play by the catcher and the pitcher to cut down the would-be go-ahead run. And then a double steal-like attempt. And another out on the bases for the third out. Sometimes the coaches can't help themselves. They're yelling at Cartagena to tell him to go touch up the rosin bag. And now we're going to get another argument here from the South Korean coaches. We're being a little touchy about the rules.
Yeah, we're beyond it's a rosin bag. You pick the rosin bag up, you throw it up, you throw it back down. I don't know that there's anything to really discuss right here. Start throwing it towards home plate and we got an issue, but that hadn't happened yet.
Play.
Jae-Woo Young, the hitter, takes a strike, 1-1.
Play. 1-1.
Bunted foul.
Foul.
It's 1-2. Well, we certainly have seen some of this on both sides, where to start an inning, these managers and teams have tried to use some little ball just to get a base runner and put some pressure on it. And really, the defenses, it's a point you've been making all afternoon. Only one error in this game between both teams, and it's a long game. We're in our third extra inning. That's strike 3 called.
Good spot.
But the defense has been up to the challenge whenever somebody has tried to start a rally with a bunt. Well, on ESPNU, Iowa, New York are playing as we speak. Who knows? Maybe that game will end before this one does on the U.S. side. When we're finished, Australia and Mexico, they're going to rush out there and get warmed up and get ready to go. Game scheduled for 5 Eastern. The second game of 2 today on the international side. And still another one to go on the U.S. side. You give them at least 40 minutes to warm up and get ready. So no matter how long this game goes, it's not like, okay, let's play ball. It's 5 o'clock. We're ready. They give both teams a chance. Tae-Yoon Kim, we've talked about his defense a lot. He's also a magician, literally. Sometimes we use that to describe how a player plays defense, but he does magic tricks.
If he makes one disappear right here, it gives South Korea their first lead of the ball game.
Was that too easy?
Well, it took me 10 seconds to get to it, so no, I don't think so.
Thank you.
1-2.
1-2. Play.
Kim's been great at third for South Korea in this game.
Nope.
Maybe a little bit in, maybe a little bit up.
You okay? Need a second?
You can sympathize here. I think John Lopez is cramping up. He's trying to stretch out that right foot. He's been in the crouch a lot. It's hot. It's humid.
Good.
This is a long Little League game. We are way past the 3-hour mark. Well, pure speculation from my part, but I think that's what's going on.
Like. Stretch that calf out.
Maybe the most important player on the field for Puerto Rico, John Lopez.
I don't disagree, but your point is right on. I mean, you've been squatting for the better part of 3 hours at this point. Humid here. The way they're stretching their right leg out, it looks like it probably is just a cramp.
Now they're bringing some water out.
All right, so we're looking down at John Lopez. He's the one with the blonde hair, and he's really the one that started the idea for this Puerto Rico team to dye their hair blonde for the Little League World Series. But it was actually born at the 2017 World Baseball Classic. That Puerto Rico team dyed their hair blonde, had a great tournament, finished second place. So ever since then, pretty much every team from Puerto Rico that reps the island on the international stage dyes their hair blonde. We also mentioned earlier in the show, Guayama is known as El Pueblo Brujo, another city of witches. So there's plenty of superstition that surrounds this team. Blonde hair certainly a part of that.
I like it. A little solidarity, get everybody together.
Let kids be kids a little bit.
Good work by our training staff here, and still, I think pretty obviously, John Lopez not 100% comfortable. But he's going to continue on with one out here in the top of the ninth.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
It was 2-0 in the sixth with one out and nobody on. South Korea down to their final 2 outs. They tied it. We have not had a run since. We've had some big swings. We've had some dramatic plays. We've had plays at the plate, but no runs.
I'll tell you what we haven't had, and I think we'll talk about it more as this Little League World Series will go on. We haven't had any home runs. And with 2 teams that have kids of this size that have gotten to this point, just come to expect a few balls that will leave the ballpark over the course of the game. I don't think a ball has reached the track. There have been a few that have been close in center field. With new bats this year that really, they perform just like a wood bat. We've already seen a difference so far.
Well, you got to get in the batter's box. That's part of the rules here, the Little League World Series. That one hard hit, fair ball. On the move towards second. Tae-Yun Kim is in there. The go-ahead run in scoring position with one out. A rare extra base hit. Your point is a good one about the home runs.
Well, we talked a lot about the defense of Tae-Yun Kim over at third base today. Now the offense. Fastball, he lets travel, gets deep, shoots it down the right field line. Carlos De Jesus has made some great plays over at first, but that one just out of his reach. Goes for extra bases. I think our first extra base, I believe, second extra base hit of the ball game. Made a double earlier, but that one down the right field line gives South Korea a base runner in scoring position with one out here.
Another chance, more pressure on the Puerto Rico defense and pitching. Yunwoo Lim, he is the 9th place hitter. He's been the right fielder. Yeah, the umpire, I mean, he's trying, but the hitter needs to get in the batter's box.
Go. 1. Batter, step in.
Yeah, that needs to tighten up for sure. And I think at some point the umpire could consider bringing the coaches over for South Korea and kind of issuing a warning.
You do wonder sometimes, and it feels like clapping is fairly universal, but there is a language gap.
For sure.
I mean,
and you sympathize with that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, both these coaches. Look, it's easy to understand. It's the Little League World Series. They're fighting for their kids, but they are diving deep into the nuances of the rules, trying to find an advantage for their teams on both sides. Go-ahead run at second, top of the ninth. Let's see a pitch. Let's try that. Strike one.
There you go.
Game's more fun that way.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Oh, he got hit. That one came inside, got him right in the back. So 2 on. Unlike, say, in the bottom half of an extra inning where you don't really care about a trail runner.
A little different here.
A lot different.
Yep.
And now you get back to the top of the order. Jae-Yeon Lee, who has hit leadoff all game long, the second baseman. A show of sportsmanship from Cartagena. But South Korea would like to not just get the one, they would like to. I mean, one would be a start, but this could turn into a bigger inning. Now you got the big hitters coming up. 2 on, 1 out.
Foul right here, foul!
Right off his foot, a foul ball. I don't know if you could overhear the catcher, John Lopez. He wanted to make sure his third baseman, Gabriel Rivera, was watching, paying attention. You got the runner at second. South Korea's been very bold on the bases. So Lopez, who kind of captains the defense, he was trying to make sure that his third baseman is watching closely.
Yeah, and he really seems like that type of player that just recognizes everything that's going on the field. Yeah, we had got a chance to hang out with him a little bit yesterday and some of the drills that we were doing, and you can tell sometimes by talking to a kid, and it doesn't take very long, just their understanding of the game and the small things that they see, and then we've seen it put into play today. Lopez back behind on play.
Well, at least he's not in the crouch. You do have some sympathy for him. He's cramping up big time. This has been a long top of the ninth inning with several different kinds of delays, one of which was his cramp, where the trainer came out to help him work that out. Now the trainer back out there after the foul ball off the foot. Are we good to stay in the game? We're good.
Strike.
2 on, 1 out.
Play. Ball.
Well, you don't see many Little League games get to this point.
No, we talked about it earlier. We're in the ninth inning. There's one error.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
And that one error was just a throwing error to where the game sped up a little bit.
Play.
Puerto Rican defense was trying to make a throw that they shouldn't have. But for balls put in play, everything has been clean.
And that's part of the reason why games often don't last this long.
Right.
The 6-inning games is there's a mistake or there's not enough pitching depth or whatever. Not in this one. It's been a long time, 2001, since an opening round game here in Williamsport went this long. That one way outside, a very wild pitch, and that makes the situation even tougher for Puerto Rico. Second and third with 1 out. Now you figure the infield's going to have to come in.
3-2, 1 out, big pitch right here for Cartagena. If you can get a strikeout, you can allow your defense to go back, play normal depth with 2 outs.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Play.
Jae-Yo Lee trying to tough it out too. He fouled the ball right off his foot to start this at bat. That infield defense does come in. Huge pitch in this game right here. And he missed inside, ball 4. Now one thing that does, it takes away the margin for error, but you get the force play on at home. So now anything hit on the infield, you can come home and try to cut down that go ahead run. But we may be having a pitching change here. That big Luis Rivera who's going to take the mound. How about a tight spot to inherit? Big time pressure in extra innings. We'll take a break and come back right after this. Well, while this game is in extra innings, up the hill at Lomity, tie game, bottom 4. John Calabrese for Staten Island, New York, knocks in a run. Another one comes around. A moment later, 4-2, New York with the lead. Bottom 5 over on ESPNU. Our game here at Volunteer, the longest opening round game in 17 years.
Congratulations, we're making history today.
And it is not over yet, that's for sure. 2-2. We're in the top of the 9th inning. South Korea, Puerto Rico. You see that line score. Puerto Rico was 2 outs away from finishing off a shutout. At that point, finishing off a no-hitter. South Korea did not have a hit until 1 out into the 6th inning, down 2-0. But they found a way to score 2 runs. And now Luis D. Rivera, who's been a part of the offense for Puerto Rico. Rivera on the mound here in a very tight spot. Bases loaded, 1 out for his first Little League World Series pitching experience. I think Mom's probably a little nervous. We heard from Mom earlier in the game.
Sir? He's in the box. He's okay. What? Here we go. Play ball. Play ball.
John Lopez wanted to make sure that it's okay. I mean, he is so close to home plate, this hitter, Jong-Yo Park. The umpire said, yeah, he's in the box.
Ball.
Lopez set that target up, and Luis Rivera basically hit the target.
Yeah. That one's maybe 0-2. We want to stand up right there, but no count, bases loaded. Let's just try to get strike 1.
Ball.
2-0. Yeah, because you got to throw strikes here. A walk could decide the game. It's only the top of the 9th inning, but a walk forces in a run. South Korea has not led. 2-0.
Ball.
Wow, that was close. Have to throw a strike here. And he does.
That's the one thing, and you see a lot of kids that'll fake bunt and kind of move out of the way. I swear that makes your strike zone bigger when you're running out of there, because there's just a very little reference for a home plate umpire to use. And I think so often, if you just stand there like you normally would, you get a much better chance of a ball like that getting called a ball.
3-1. That's strike 2. Beautifully thrown right to the target. From 3-0 to 3-2. Can he make another pitch? He looks pretty calm out there in a very big spot. Bases loaded, 1 out, tie game, 9th inning. Park the hitter. Rivera just in the game on the mound. 3-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. 2 down. Huge.
3-0 count, bases loaded, just into the ball game. Hadn't thrown a strike yet. Comes back and throws 3 in a row. Fastball taken for strike 1 and comes back, gets in a 3-2 count. And this one has a little bit of cut, comes in on the left-handed hitter. Jong-Hyun Park trying to pull the trigger, can't get to it, but a giant strikeout in a spot that Luis Rivera on the round really needed that one. You get the infield in right there with the bases loaded. Anything put in play has got a chance to score a run, but you strike him out, it keeps it tied at 2, and you're 1 pitch away from getting out of this one.
It's Ji-Young Choi, who has a hit, a walk, has scored a run, and hit the ball the farthest in this game. Choi hit one to the warning track, or real close, in his last at bat in the 8th inning. Now in the 9th with the bases loaded, 2 outs. And that one glanced off his bat. No, it hit him. It hit him. And that will force in a run. 3-2 South Korea. I thought it hit the bat.
Yeah, I did too. We'll see what the reaction is over on first base. It's sometimes sound is the best indicator on this, and the sound sounded, at least initially, like it was the knob of the bat. As the knob comes all the way through,
wow,
they got both.
I don't know. I mean, it's a very tough call for the umpire.
I would say this: it absolutely hit a piece of the knob of the bat.
Yeah,
I don't think the ball reacts that way if it didn't. It doesn't need to get but a piece of the finger for that to be a hit batsman enough. Watch the finger move just enough.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think it moved just enough. Right. It clearly hit a piece of the knob of the bat. That's about as hard as it can get for a home plate umpire right there too, because that's.
Now a ball on one hop, a diving attempt, and no play. Coming around third, the throw home, the tag, out at the plate. But another run has scored. 4-2 South Korea. Close play there as they tried to get an extra one. And they cannot challenge it, so it's 4-2 with that out at the plate. Maybe an extra chance for Puerto Rico. We'll see. 2 runs across for South Korea, middle of the 9th.
De aquí desde Cleveland, le quiero dar un saludito a mis muchachos de C12 que van para Williamsport a representarnos allá de Puerto Rico. Muy orgulloso y contento de saber de que mi sueño está ahí establecido para ellos y contento de verlo a ellos representar a mi pueblo. De verdad que bien orgulloso. Les doy mi saludo desde Rosario aquí.
Well, words of encouragement from a great MLB star. There are so many of them from Puerto Rico in the big leagues right now. Yadier Molina, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Correa, Javi Baez.
Pick one.
Edwin Diaz, who is one of the nastiest late inning relievers in the big leagues. There are just so many stars, and they are watching. I can guarantee you that. These kids from Puerto Rico who were 2 outs away from a win. South Korea tied it in the 6th, and now in the 9th inning, the longest opening round game in Williamsport in 17 years. South Korea has scored twice to go ahead by the slimmest of margins, and really that has defined this whole game. Close plays over and over again on the bases, tag plays. It was ultimately a hit batter by maybe a fraction of an inch that got the go-ahead run across. And there's strike 1 to start this bottom of the 9th. Puerto Rico needs at least 2 to keep the game going. Gabriel Rivera from the left side against Ji-Young Choi. 0-2. What a game.
Thank you.
Yeah, this one's been fun.
2 strikes. Play.
Trying to reach back, maybe get a little something extra.
One or two.
Out number 1. I mean, you think about it, these are mostly 12-year-olds. And this game has been, what, 3.5 hours?
3:38, Dave. As of right now, yeah, this has got to be the longest game these kids have ever played.
These kids have ever played. The concentration level, you already had sort of the heightened adrenaline of the big stage first game at Williamsport. I'm impressed. Strike one to Luis Rivera. It's been pitch number 50 from Ji Young Choi. South Korea's just used the two pitchers in this game.
Yeah. I think some of it, I mean, obviously the pitch count component comes into play as to who's going to be available to go next. The first part is you do anything you can to win the first game.
Yes.
1-2, 1-2, hey, 1-2, 1-2.
You got one left.
Come on, come on. Still got a shot.
1-2.
Don't argue this one. Just get back in there and get back to work.
On the ground to third. Kim has picked it clean all game long. South Korea 1 out away from what I think you could safely call an improbable win, considering the way the first.
I mean, you're down 2 runs in the 6th inning. 1 out, nobody on base, and you don't have a hit in the game. Yes, I think this would qualify as improbable, and it looks like we will have a pitching change here.
Well, and here's where your words from just a moment ago. I mean, look, there's some strategy about trying to save Choi and be able to bring him back a little quicker. But I keep going back to what you just said. You have to win this game.
You do. I think the play right here is because of the pitch count, this would allow Choi to come back and pitch on Sunday, which if South Korea wins right here, they would play next on Sunday.
So that would be big for him, for this South Korean team. And that's where you lose a game like this. Tournament's not over. You're still alive. It's a double elimination format, but you use all your resources, your pitchers, your pitches, all your energy. And then if you lose, that turnaround time feels so quick. Puerto Rico down to their final out. Choi's going to go back to center field. That's where he started the game. Junwoo Lim, a left-hander, will come in to try to get the final out. Well, it has been a crazy game, and in case you're just joining us, this is the first game on the international side. This is not game 2. We began a long time ago. It's the longest opening round game in a long while. Eric Rodriguez had not given up a hit. He got the first out in the 6th inning. Puerto Rico was 2 outs away from a victory and had not given up a hit. But as soon as he had to come out of the game with the 88 pitches thrown, South Korea pounced. They got 2 hits and 2 runs, tied the game in the 6th. All the way into the 9th inning, still 2-2. It was actually a hit batter that forced the 3rd run, and then another run came across on a hit a couple moments later. 4-2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Australia and Mexico have been waiting around a long time. They got here a while ago.
I mean, it's a long wait anyway to play your first game, but that one will get started a little bit late. Junwoo Lim, who we saw out in center field, a left-hander, little chili pepper, 5'2", 102 pounds. Left-hander can run it up there too, based on his size. Just trying to get the final out right here, give South Korea a game 1 win.
There's the reliever from Korea who's pitching in the big leagues now, who has really been a good pitcher for the last couple of years. There you go, running it up there. Sung-won-oh, who his nickname in Korea before he came to Major League Baseball was the final boss. And this little kid trying to be the final boss for Seoul, South Korea here today. 0-1. Jobert, the hitter from the right side against the lefty. Strike 2. Puerto Rico down to their final strike.
2 strikes.
Puerto Jobert, he helped Puerto Rico jump ahead in this game with his speed. The 0-2.
One and two.
Got to get somebody on base to have a chance. And it's got to be this guy. To right field and hit pretty well, but not quite well enough. What a win for South Korea. Down to their final 2 outs. They had not had a hit into the 6th inning. And they figured out a way to get 2 runs across, tie it up. It stayed 2-2 until the 9th. They scored twice and get the final 3 outs in the bottom half for a hard-fought and well-earned win. 4-2 final in 9.
Yeah, give both these teams credit. We played 9 full innings here in Little League Baseball. There was just 1 error. It was clean all the way through. 10 combined hits. Pitchers threw a bunch of strikes. Yeah, for South Korea, you go to the 6th inning without a hit, 1 out. New pitcher, which clearly changed the mindset just a little. 2 runs in the 6th to keep things going, and then 2 to the 9th were enough.
So 4-2. Now we'll get the good sportsmanship on both sides. And you just feel for those kids from Puerto Rico. They were so close. Their fans were chanting. The cheers were going up. They could taste that win. Couldn't hold the lead in 6. They had a couple chances in extra innings, particularly in the 8th inning. Had the winning run, had third base, could not push it across, and at long last South Korea got the job done with a rally and maybe even a little bit of good fortune for South Seoul Little League. 4-2 final. We'll take a break and come back and wrap it up right after this. In Mexico, they've been here for a while, waiting for this first game on the international side to finish. 4-2, South Korea in 9, the longest opening round game here in Williamsport in more than a decade. And it took a lot of effort on both sides to get to the very end of this one. It was the 4th inning when Puerto Rico got the first runs of the game.
Yeah, first sign of offense. Eric Rodriguez puts it in play. Bang, bang play at first, and the same thing at home plate. And Big Papi comes up. Luis Rivera single to left. Puerto Rico would score 2. It would stay that way to the 6th. 1 out. South Korea yet to get a hit. That was their first. Yu Hyung Choi, the hit to left that scored the first run. Then a Little League double steal. Trying to take second. Run comes in. It tied it. And it stayed 2-2 to the 9th, where South Korea would add 2 more. And that was the difference. Ball that may have been off the knob of the bat. May have just got a piece of the finger. At the end of the day, it goes all the way to the backstop. Hit batsman scores 1. Ball in the infield scores another. And South Korea comes back to win the opener 4-2. And a ball game that was clean. It was well played and impressive on both sides.
It took almost 4 hours for the kids from South Korea to get a win. So they have advanced on the winner's side. They'll play Sunday morning against the winner of Australia, Mexico. Tomorrow, Spain, Japan, Panama, and Canada get their Little League World Series 2018 kicked off. And look, Kyle, we don't want to make too much of this. Puerto Rico is not out of it. They played a heck of a game today, but it's such a huge advantage when you get that first win, particularly when both sides had to tax their pitching. The kids had to push so hard to get through this one.
Well, one of the biggest advantages, 1, you win game 1, but 2, you get an extra day. I mean, for South Korea, they don't come back to play again until Sunday, so you do get an extra day of rest. We saw that come into play late in the ball game, but still impressive. I mean, you go 5 1/3 innings, don't get any hits, and really didn't hit a lot of balls hard. Things change pretty quick. They stay alive there in the 6th inning, get 2 in the 9th to win it.
So a victory for South Korea, one of the teams we figure is a favorite here. They had to earn it the hard way. In 9 innings, they beat Puerto Rico. 5:33 first pitch on the international side. Before then, though, we're going to go up the hill to Lamedy to Carl Ravitch.
9 boys, yeoman's work. We appreciate it. Terrific job down there and look forward to seeing the next game as well. But here we have a final score of New York beating Iowa 5-2. David Ross, Carl Ravitch, Julie Foudy down on the field in a moment, and we will get to our game in a moment. It took half the time that theirs did, and Staten Island, New York gets the victory. One of the key reasons is with Julie Foudy. Julie?
I am with the guy, Gregory Bruno, the man of the match. You pitched 2 2/3, 7 strikeouts, had a double yourself, and I just heard from Coach you're upset about that performance. How is that?
I mean, I expect myself like perfection every time, but you know, we still got the win today, and that's all that matters.
And how good did that feel to get that first win out of the way?
Yeah, it feels good now, and it also feels good that I'm under my pitch count, so I can pitch the next game. So, you know, it still feels pretty good.
Eligible for Sunday, indeed. Gregory, this is the first time this team has ever been behind in a game in 2 seasons, is my understanding. How did you guys overcome that?
Well, we know that we're a pretty good team, and we're up against a pretty good team, but we know that we have the ability to come back and whatever the score is. So, you know, that's what we're capable of.
What kind of confidence does that give you, knowing you can do it?
Well, I mean, we are a team known for, you know, being ahead. But, you know, we always used to mercy teams in the districts and the cities. But, you know, that doesn't mean that we can't have games that we like can be close games with. And, you know, that's what, you know, we're capable of.
Yeah. We've got your coach on your side now, too. Coach Calabrese, you have a whole contingency here today, 30 strong just in the Calabrese crew, and over 300 from Staten Island. How important was it for you guys to get that today with all that crowd?
It's great to have the home, kind of like the hometown advantage. You know, I mean, we had a lot of fans here today. A lot of them drove up. We're about 3 hours away, so I've been getting a ton of text messages, people coming down, and I guess they all came down. So it was great to have a nice crowd behind us today, keep the energy in the building for us, and keep it going.
You guys had never been behind for 2 seasons, as we were just discussing. What did you say to the team?
You know, I haven't said anything about that until a couple of days ago. When sure as soon as you say it, what happens? You fall behind. But they got a lot of character, these kids. They want to play, they want to battle, and